I'd like to call the meeting of the Plaquemines Parish Council for November 14, 2024 to order at 2 p.m. Machines are open for roll call. Patty, or Ms. McCarty. Doc. Oh, okay, you already did. All, or 8 council members are present. Reverend Edwards will be absent today. At this time, we'll stand for the prayer by our Councilmember Jurisic and pledge by Councilmember Newsom.
And with Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. We take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom. And we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality for all, to all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know the right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. And we also want to take a moment to pray for Miss Robin, who sits in here, security. She's in the hospital right now. I think we talked to Sheriff Tulich. She seems to be alert. I know she's been in ICU. So let's pray for her. Remember her in our prayers today, because she's a wonderful person, and we need her back. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item, please.
Item 2, executive session. Discussion of litigation in accordance with LRS 4417A2 in regard to the Parish of Plaquemines versus ConocoPhillips et al. 25th, JBC number 6982, Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus HHE Energy Co. et al. 25th, JBC 6983, Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Exchange Oil and Gas Corp. et al. 25th, JBC 6984, Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus LLOG Exploration and Production et al. 25th, JBC 6985, Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Equitable Petroleum Corp. et al. 25th, JBC 6986, Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Linda Oil Co. et al. 25th, JBC number 6988. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Riverwood Production Co. et al. 25th, JBC number 6989. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Helix Oil and Gas Co. et al. 25th, JDC number 6990. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Bepco LP et al. 25th, JDC number 6991. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus North Coast Oil Co. et al. 25th, JDC number 6992. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Cascades Operating Co. et al. 25th, JDC number 6993. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Goodrich Petroleum Co. et al. 25th, JDC number 6994. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Devon Energy Production Co. et al. 25th, JDC number 6995. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Roswell Operating Co. et al. 25th, JDC number 6996. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Palm Energy Offshore et al. 25th, JDC number 6997. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Great Southern Oil & Co. et al. 25th, JDC number 6998. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Hillcorp Energy et al. 25th, JDC number 6999. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Apache Oil Corp. et al. 25th, JDC number 61000. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Campbell Energy Corp. et al. 25th, JDC number 61001. Division B, the Parish of Plaquemines versus Texas Petrochemical and Refining et al. 25th, JDC number 61002. Division B, Attorneys Carmouche, Kosich, Parasola, Taylor, Connick, Berglass, and Tankersley. Councilmember Schultz.
I'll ask for a second. Second by Mr. Kokrovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Machines are open. Go into executive session. Passes 8-0. We'll go into executive session at 2:05 p.m. We'll return from executive session at 2:19 p.m. No final or binding action was taken during executive session. Next item.
3, proclamations. There are none. 4, administration updates.
Mr. President.
We have an election coming up on December the 7th, next month. It's a pretty important election. It's on a millage that failed at one of the previous elections. I think that was in the springtime. We have town halls set up to be able to explain what this millage is all about. I think what happened is it was named, the name was what confused a lot of folks, and it was the pollution control millage, and a lot of folks didn't understand just exactly what it was. I think even the word incinerator was in there somewhere, and folks are probably like, well, you don't have incinerators, and so there's really no reason for that. But the dates, these town halls are all at 6 o'clock. The first one being November the 18th at the Braithwaite Auditorium, November the 19th at the Burris Auditorium, November the 20th at the Port Sulphur YMCA, December the 3rd at the Belle Chase Auditorium. Again, each of these events are at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. And the impact that this millage has on the water services, this is for chemicals, for our drinking water treatment, wastewater treatment, stormwater management, sludge treatment and disposal, and environmental protection. We have some flyers up front, so if the general public would like to grab some, and if not that we have very many folks out there right now, but maybe if each of us can take some and put them in our offices. I also sent a text to you that has that flyer on the text so that we can forward that to the folks in our communities as well. And want to stress that this is not a new millage, that this is a continuation. This is something that we're paying for. We're paying this millage right now. And at the end of the day, this millage brings in about little over $2 million into the general fund, or not really the general fund, goes towards these chemicals that they're meant for. I want to thank the council here for the last couple of weeks, taking the time to working with us on the budget. Hopefully come next week, we will have ironed out, all of the issues that need to be, which will make the budget hearings go smooth. Want to mention that last Saturday, I don't know if Mr. LaFrance wants to speak on this, but we had a grand reopening of the Ironton Park up front. It was well attended. Ms. Salvant put the program together. We had Tallgrass there. We had a representative from FEMA, a lot of the volunteers that helped put that park back together. It was a real good event. Like I said, well attended. I had the opportunity this week, Tuesday night, Mr. Marco and myself, we attended the christening of the ACBL Mariner, which is the largest tugboat that's going to be on the river that can push about 56 to 60 barges. And what is unique and what is real intriguing to me, and what gets myself excited, CNC Marine built the vessel. So give a big shout out to Tony on that. That was a great accomplishment on his part. I believe he built this vessel in about 18 months, and he had another year on the project, but he had made some deals with him so that if he got this vessel built as fast as he did, they would throw him a big party. Well, they did throw him a big party. It was at the Mardi Gras World. The governor was there. and a lot of folks from all over the country. So if you ever see Tony, just congratulate him on that. It was, and let me tell you, it was really neat as he was giving his talk. They had it coordinated with the bridge, because where we were, you could look up and see the bridge lights. So he said, as he's talking, he said, look, we're going to light up the light. The bridge is going to be lit up with ACBL's company colors, and boom, the lights come on. And he says, I can't get away with this. He says, I got to at least show our company colors. So it went from the red, white, and blue to just the blue and white. So it was really a neat function. And I just thought it was real good for Plaquemines Parish. And then another thing was the master of ceremonies was Michael Alfordish, which is a young man. I've known him all of his life, but to see him standing up there as a grown young man now, just leading such an event. So that's about what I have.
Good afternoon. As President Hinckley said, we've been working tirelessly on budget, and as everyone knows, budget hearings will start on Monday, November 18th, and run 18th, 19th, and 20th, 9 o'clock in the council chambers. On the HR side, open enrollment started on November 7th and will run through November 21st. For any changes, add-ons, anything you want to do with your insurance, employees who want to make changes, that will continue through the 21st of November.
This will be a little condensed version. The last couple of weeks with the rain and mist and just crappy weather in general, things were either went from that storm prep, even though it turned out to be nothing. There was a lot of planning, pre-planning went into that to be ready in case something did happen with some tidal flooding, more so on the East Bank over here. Thankfully, we didn't have any issues at all to worry about. But sinkholes, culvert repairs, sinkholes, pretty much everything we've had on the list to be done is done, except for 4 locations. The 4 locations are in Miss McCarty's district and Mr. Champagne's district. One's in Springwood, one's on Delta Street, right in somebody's front yard, one's in the backyard in Chapel Hill, and one's in that servitude on Cambridge. The issue we want to wait on with that is it's so wet and soggy right now. We'll tear up their yards and make it 10 times worse than the sinkhole is. So we're going to let that dry out, and then once we get those, it'll be finished till the next round pop up, and they come and go. It's unreal how those show up. Pothole repairs, same thing. Weather's been permitting some cold patching any potholes. But I've been out and about in the parish. I did have the chance to start checking on some of the bigger ones we've done, especially on the lower end of the West Bank, off Boothville River Road. Surprisingly, they've held up really well. They look like they were just done yesterday. And I know some in like Main Street in Belchase, for example, in those potholes, they're about 2 inches deep. Those get blown out every time there's a little bit of puddle sits in those waters. So we're going to have to revisit what we did different in those that they didn't hold up compared to the ones down the road. We'll work on that and try to make that more of it's going to be a temporary repair no matter what, but we want it to last a little longer. Concrete repairs, Mr. Jeff handles that through his engineering department, so I'll let him talk about those upcoming scheduled jobs. Grass, thank goodness the grass has slowed down tremendously. It's making a big difference on the rotation when they come back around to a different spot. Almost every district has a hot spot where somebody calls about, or somebody in that neighborhood calls about all the time. For sure, your calls to me have reduced, so I'm assuming those calls to you have reduced, and the calls we get to the office have definitely reduced. And we know, going down Main Street, looking at those potholes today, I noticed the levee. It seemed like last week they cut the levee, but when I checked on it, it was like 3 weeks ago. So they're making those rotations much faster now, and that's no doubt, it's to do with the subcontractors that are supplementing some of that highway cutting. Just freeing up those people and equipment is making a tremendous difference. One thing I didn't put on that list that I emailed out too is tree trimming. Tree trimming is a tedious thing, like school buses hit it, garbage trucks hit it, you guys get calls on it for campers and boats, whatever. There's only 3 spots that we haven't got done yet to date. One of them is on St. Anne Street, one of them is Villery Street, and one of them is on Avenue A. Those 3 spots, it's larger limbs, so we're gonna have a tree company go out and look at those. And once we get that lined up, we should be moving forward on those. That completes the operation side of things.
Good afternoon. Excuse me. Round 2 of the 9 compliant letters sent to the RV parks. All but 2 locations have come into compliance. Those 2 will receive, if they haven't received already, they'll receive a disconnect notice here shortly. Round 3, their disconnect letters will be going out at the same time. Round 4 will be sent out early December, and they'll get a 30-day notice to come into compliance. The Belle Chase concrete package, because of the favorable bid, about 15 to 20 other locations were able to be added. They're still kind of working up the numbers, but they're pretty confident that we'll be able to add quite a few other areas. Some of the areas that won't have as much impact on the public, they may get to before Thanksgiving, but they really didn't want to start clogging up neighborhoods for the Thanksgiving holidays. So those will begin right after the Thanksgiving holidays. Port Suffolk Community Center, the Public Service Commission funding, the energy efficiency funding, that project is just about done. They upgraded all of the lighting to LED, energy efficiency LED lighting. There's some lighting on the exterior that we were having some electrical issues with, but those are being addressed. The Woodlawn Fire Station, the bids came back a little bit higher than anticipated, but they're meeting with the consultant to address those concerns. Chairman, District 3, sewer and drainage. Lift Station 22, they sent the vac truck out and removed quite a bit of debris that I'm sure was hindering some flow. They also adjusted some of the floats on some of the pumps to start pumping a little bit quicker than they were, trying to coordinate some of the floats on some of the surrounding pumps to get that flow a little bit better. I think this last rain event, I didn't hear.
Yeah,
any complaints.
I did not hear anything from yesterday's rain, and I actually went to the 2 spots on Dr. Gorman yesterday afternoon where it was still right after the rain ended, and I did not see any sewer
Right, so
overflow. So
Hopefully with cleaning out, you're going to get a better flow and adjusting some of those floats where it starts a little bit quicker and starts to flow a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
And just kind of coordinate some of those lift stations to get that water flowing to the header a little bit quicker.
okay, yeah, like I said, I didn't get any complaints yesterday. I went out there and looked.
We're also looking into some bigger pumps, some different pumps. It's a delicate process to get that, to kind of coordinate all these lift stations to get that water flowing at the right time in the right direction. And that's all I have. Again, any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to call.
Thank you. All right, this is the Arts, Parks, and Recreation Report. We are currently in the tackle football season. The season is scheduled to conclude with playoffs next week, Tuesday, November 19th and 20th. And then the championship games will take place on Saturday, November 23rd. So we're looking forward to that and thank everyone for such a great season. We're moving on to Biddy basketball. Registration for basketball has closed. We're still awaiting some rosters from teams on the southern end and on the East Bank. Currently, registration numbers for the Belle Chase area are at 215 between the ages of 5 and 14. So we're looking forward of having a very large and fun, active basketball season. As a reminder, the Percy Griffin Community Center Fitness Center is open Tuesday through Thursdays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. We have plans to close the fitness center on Saturdays after November 23rd. So November 23rd will be the last Saturday of the year for the fitness center. So if residents want to take part, they still have a little time. Our Safe Sitter class will return out of highly anticipated and much requested second session for that program. The class will take place Saturday, November 30th from 9 to 3:30 at the Bell Chase Auditorium with Dr. Brooke Grant. Registration is still open online on League Apps, and it will close on Friday, November 22nd for anyone interested. Lastly, our pilot Arts, Parks, and Recreation Department summer program partnership application is finally open. So thanks so much to council for your support in this program. We're looking forward to working with community members to provide them with more information on the program, how they can apply, and hosting some technical and information assistance workshop for those who are interested beginning in December. The dates for the workshops will be posted on the parish's website under Arts, Parks, and Recreation, and of course on social media. But we are happy to open that application. I've started speaking on it. Last night I spoke at a neighborhood association meeting to let them know about the program. So if anyone is interested in having me speak about it prior to these workshops, please let me know. And then we currently have construction, pre-construction repairs or updates at 5 parks across the parish. Those sites include Braithwaite, which is a new playground equipment structure. We're waiting on that to be built and delivered. And then Diamond Park, we're waiting on plans for those updates. Lake Park Trails is under construction. We've started with clearing the lot, moving on to fencing. So that's moving along well. Roger Halfin and Leroy Harvey, we have restroom updates to those sites, as well as some other amenities to those sites. And that concludes my report. If anyone has any questions, I'm sure to answer. I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to touch on some other things. Last week, Ronnie and I, Councilman Newsom and I had the opportunity with the Port Chair Tillotson and to go to Baton Rouge to have a sit-down talk with the Secretary Donahue with DOTD. So we're pushing hard and pushing forward on the Peters Bypass Road, trying to get that grant squared away as who's going to administrate that. So those talks are ongoing. And I just want to kind of touch on this coming week. Not only do we have the budget hearings that are going on, but as a group, Rennie and with Patrick and our Homeland Security Department, we're going to be going up to Baton Rouge to sit down with GOSEP and talk on projects that start back from Katrina to probably Francine, and just kind of hash out things and see where we are financially with all of those disasters and those storms. And also, Senator Connick is trying to put together, on the Senate transportation side of things, trying to put together two issues. It's going to bring plenary to the table to see what are the issues, what were the issues, and what are the what are the final decisions that are made on plenary. We talked to them this morning. They are driving pilings. They're still saying that somewhere towards the end of January that the bridge will be open in both ways. I've got a phone call into them. Just why are we pressure washing in the middle of the day, shutting down a lane? So I'm trying to find out those answers because that's very disruptive to the community. I just don't think that's necessary. And also on Senator Connick's on the Transportation Committee side, he's wanting to talk about the diversion. And there's some things going on. So the diversion, it's coming at them from two different sides now, not only from the parish side of life, but it's also coming from industry there with Mitch's group. So I just wanted to mention that also.
Go ahead, Billy.
One thing Ms. Morrison just reminded me, it wasn't to be on the update list, but we have stockpiles of sand that was placed parish-wide for hurricane season. Once we're sure we're out of hurricane season, we want to remove those piles. If for some reason you think you want to keep those piles there, just reach out to me and let me know. They were the piles that were set up for people to come and self-bag. Parking lot of the Buras YMCA, parking lot of the Port Sulphur YMCA, the Boothfield Playground down there, East Bank, Belchase. So if you don't think you need to have that power for the reason, we're gonna pick them up, reuse that sand for something else. In the past, sometimes they just got left, grass grew up, and then it was just spreading the area, and it doesn't really serve any purpose when we do that. So we do want to pick it up unless you have a specific reason you want us to keep it there. Just let me know.
All right. Any comments from the public?
Oh, we had an arrangement.
We made an arrangement, but the rest of them don't know about it. Good evening. Clarence Brock, 156 East Campbell Drive. I got a question for Mr. Billy. The water from the marsh, the water came out to the highway. You say it's gonna be like, it's like rain hour before it's over with. So that water came from the marsh, and it brought in mosquitoes like crazy. And we had rain on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we know we couldn't run a mosquito truck, so because of the bad weather. The question is, can we get some, because of all the mosquitoes, I don't think there is any more mosquitoes in the marsh anymore. They all is in our neighborhood. So
We're going to have a mosquito control discussion under Mr. Jursich district update later. So we're going to have that discussion.
all right, that's good. I can wait. And also, I want to let you know, because of that water coming from the marsh like that, 2 people got their cars demolished. One hit a hog and one hit a deer. And they only had liability insurance on their car. So I don't feel sorry for him, because I hit one of my show cars with a hog right in Phoenix. And matter of fact, in the same spot with Councilman LaFrance. I was just that mad. I didn't have nothing to do with him. And a pothole on 39 that I hit about 8 months ago that busted my tire on my doggone trailer. Are we going to fix that one, or are we going to wait till the highway on 39 get redone?
It's been reported to state, because that's a state highway.
So they're going to be able to take care of that?
And I think they didn't come out today and do that. I didn't look when I was down here today, but it was still there.
Yeah. All right.
Usually they come out pretty quick when we notify them and stuff like that, but I'll follow up on it.
All right. And to Mr. DeMarco, you said we building a new firehouse by Woodlawn, or are we going to repair the old one?
It's major repairs to the old one.
Okay. All right. And you also said something about the power lines that's for lighting and stuff, our lighting, Mr. DeMarco. The question is, all these power poles being put up from Bohemia to a spot in the event. Y'all know anything about that?
Is it wooden poles?
Yeah,
That would-
major wooden poles. And
That would be Entergy.
yeah, they a total of 74 of them that I count being from Bohemia to the event.
That's a good thing, right?
No, it's not a good thing. It all
To
depends
me,
what.
it almost looks like it's replacements, that they're gonna come back and replace some of the old poles.
All right.
Because you're talking about from Bohemia up to Point LaHasha on the old highway.
You're right, on the old
yeah.
highway.
The way I see them laid out on the road is that's a replacement
All right.
of the existing.
The only reason why I'm asking that, because they have 74 of them they're replacing, and a lot of them in Phoenix and the event and the upper part of the event need replacement real bad. But all these being replaced, right? The area has been cleaned out. So I'm wondering if they're gonna put an industry right there. If they are, will that be that's the next question. Will that be a community town hall meeting to let us know something coming there?
Nothing's in the making.
Okay, all right, good. Because they ran the poles from that front highway to 39 also. So all that's Entergy, so, all right. That's it. Thank you. You answered all my questions.
Thank you. He was efficient. Any other comments from the audience? Mr. Jursich.
Yes, Mr. President, the December 3rd meeting on the wastewater stuff, early voting, I believe, starts at the end of, early voting will already be in place or over by then? So we're gonna be behind that. We kind of want to get ahead of early voting, but I know with the holiday week, it messes, kind of gets us a tight time frame. But
Okay.
I would like to, people to get the idea across before early voting begins.
Chanta's out of town right now. She's in a communications convention. So when she gets back, we can go ahead and rearrange that, but we'll get that.
Yeah, I think we need to get ahead of that because you don't want to lose some votes that you might get because people don't understand.
Where's that one? I didn't put my paper.
December 3rd, the one in Belchase.
Bell Chase? Okay. All right.
Belchase. Okay, that's all I have.
Mr. Koknovich.
Yes, Mr. Hinckley, I'd like to thank you and Shanta for coming to the cleanup day at Fort Jackson. Sorry I didn't see nobody else there, but we had a good turnout and did a lot of work.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, since you mentioned it, I'd like to shout out to all of the contractors. There's several of them. They showed up to help with that. They volunteered their time that day too. It was quite the crowd out there. So, I didn't pick up a whole lot of trash here. I can't claim that.
I wasn't gonna say that. He didn't either. I cut grass all day.
So, Mr. Witchers, I see all three tree trims or lines are in my district. Do we have a timeline about?
I think he started looking at them yesterday.
Okay.
He gives us a quote, we're gonna probably move forward.
Yeah, because those are the ones I get the complaints about the
Unless
most.
it's outrageous, we're gonna move forward with it.
Okay. Ms. Morrison, thank you for speaking at Grand Terre. Last night I got multiple compliments and thanks for going and speak to them about what's going on in recreation. Mr. DeMarco, the concrete repairs, I have been talking to some of the neighbors on Schlief. Would it be smart to do that early in the week of Thanksgiving since buses won't be going down that street, school, daycares will be closed part of the week and people going out of town?
That was the target area. If we were to hit some of the areas, the areas before Thanksgiving, that was the ones we were going to hit, the one that
Okay.
would have
Yeah,
affected-
because I figured with schools out and buses and having to redirect traffic
Did
and
have that
everything.
conversation with engineering, and that was the conversation.
Okay, any update on the metal light poles? Mainly, I think Dr. Gorman, I had a couple, that lights were out. I had those couple addresses for a while now.
I'll check on it. We started working with some electrical contractors and started a list, and they've been methodically working on those
Okay.
lights that are out. I'll check where we are on that list.
Okay. And just on the pressure washer on the bridge, I know it's an inconvenience, but the reason I got back in September was some of the paint did not adhere to the off the median rail. The paint did not adhere properly, so they have to pressure wash it off to repaint it. So it's going to be a while, is basically what they said. So that's why I got it back in September when I asked about the pressure washing. So I don't know if it's changed since then, but yeah, during the day when we have heavy traffic, it's not convenient. So yeah, I agree. But that was the reason I got. So just Ms. LaFrance.
Yes. President Hinckley, you and your administration, I'd like to thank y'all for making that ribbon cutting ceremony a success. The people, the community, they was excited so they can have use of their park. They did an excellent job. And now the people in Diamond, they are excited to have their ribbon cutting ceremony next year. Thank you.
Ms. McCarty.
First, Mr. Witchers. I guess I'll,
Good.
sorry.
Well, that is your mic.
Yeah. We didn't mention the holes on Epsilon, and I just wanted to know if that was included, and are you going to replace the pipe or what around Chapel Hill and et cetera?
The Chapel Hill pipe will not be replaced. 99 out of 100, it's the connection between the pipes where the
joints.
clamp is
Okay.
or connected to a box. That's,
And
other
Delta
than Myrtle
Street?
Grove, we found plenty of rotted pipe in Myrtle Grove. The rest of them are always at some kind of union. That's where the leaks are. Epsilon, Delta Street, that's
Yeah.
the corner of Epsilon, that's one. Now, the one a little further down is the big one that.
In the middle of the house?
They're handling with the contractor, that one.
Okay.
And I believe this is Mr. DeMarco, but a while back I asked engineering to look at finishing off Epsilon Street. So I'd like to see what we can do to move forward on paving the end of that. And Mr. President, since you have connections with the bridge, can we ask them, just forget about painting the center? Because, if they've got to repaint it again at some time, just a thought, on a lighter note.
I think it's because this is to protect the concrete.
Oh, okay.
It's not a regular,
Right.
yeah.
In the joint transportation meeting a couple of months ago, they said something because it's federal grant that they have to paint it a certain, it's something with the federal grant that they received that's the reason they gave on why they were painting certain portions of the bridge.
Well-
I mean, it is what, I mean, don't get me started.
Color.
So how about say, he made a comment? What did you say, Habo?
The paint hides the cracks.
You done, Ms. McCarty? Mr. Jursich.
Just one quick thing, Mr. DeMarco and Chris, this goes towards the lighting, the steel pole. I talked with Ms. Jane Roy the other day, and she told me that since y'all contracting out, that you have to get a certain amount of lights out for the contracted car. I think it was like 10 or more.
Right, it's not cost effective to send those guys out to
Right,
fix
for
2 or 3
one
lights.
light. So-
Oh, I got about 5 in my district alone.
So, yeah, because Mr. LaFresh just reminded me as well, and I don't know if that's energy lights or what, but going
On
back.
Civic Drive?
Yes.
I'm pushing those guys.
Thank you.
The lights are there, they're just out, correct?
Right, they're
Yeah,
out, right.
Yeah.
Hey, but on that note, Mr. Kognovich, I'm assuming you did see, all seriousness, they have been changing lights, because when I was checking potholes, I've seen them 3 different times down there. Seems like River Road and Highway 11, though, nothing on the highway. So, but
I know from my house to where I work, I count over 200 every morning.
yeah, for sure they're down there now. What
You do count as
You drinking too much coffee in the morning. How about-
I'm driving, boy.
You need to watch the road.
My truck knows how to get there.
You have auto drive? Next item, please.
5, bids and advertisements. A resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing one or more mobile homes 16 by 76 Sensation TRS 1676 3E or equal for a period of 1 year for use parish-wide.
All right, we have to vote to add this to the agenda. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table? Oh, I offer to add to the agenda, thank you. Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience, administration? This is to vote to add to the agenda. Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next for the suspension of the rules.
A resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing one or more mobile homes 16 by 76 Sensation TRS 1676 3E or equal for a period of 1 year for use parish-wide.
I offer for suspension. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience? Table? Administration? Machines are open for suspension. Passes 8-0. One more time.
A resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing one or more mobile homes 16 by 76 Sensation TRS 1676 3E or equal for a period of 1 year for use parish-wide.
I offer. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jursich. And just for the public's knowledge, this is just to accept a bid. The money's already in the budget. We've been trying to get this new trailer. It's for the fire department on the East Bank. They have major problems with the current trailer, and this is to get them new, I guess you'll say, living quarters for the time being. Any comments from the audience? Do you have a comment or okay?
Need to change that shirt.
You gonna put me on a squad. Clarence Block, 156, crossover lane, no, in his camera's land in Phoenix. That trailer, you said you're gonna replace the old one and put a brand new one there.
Yes, for the time, because the old one has holes in the floor and everything else.
I go in there once in a while.
Yeah.
So it needs to be replacement, but can that trailer be replaced in the zone that it's in the area that, or it's gonna be, the new one gonna be elevated?
No, well, because it's going to be temporary until the renovations are done to the firehouse, and then the trailer is going to be moved somewhere else at that point. So it's a temporary structure, so you don't have the same elevation requirements.
All right, so in other words, if it's temporary, we can put a mobile home, and what?
This is to get them through
construction can be done.
the remodel of the
Until it's,
fire station.
yeah, until the fire station is completely remodeled. This is just to get.
It's gonna be
It's a safety issue too, as you know. So, yeah, it's not permanent, it's not going to stay there permanently or anything like that. It's just temporary until the remodel is done.
All right, yeah, okay. All right. And I think that the secret to, or the key word is it's gonna be temporary.
Yes.
Because they're gonna redo the other one, because we still got some trailers in Phoenix, Dearborn, and Pound Hat that we can't put out to live in, so. And I kinda thought if it's a full-size trailer or a trailer, it gotta be a camper only. So, but you got, like we said a bunch of times, there's a bunch of.
You don't want the trailer?
No, I don't want it.
You don't want it?
No, that's
You don't want us to place it there?
That's Woodlawn.
Okay.
That's not us. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to make sure that you don't be, if y'all can put a trailer there, I still got a trailer on a lot that I put, and y'all say, and the council said I cannot have it to live in because it's gonna be a permanent trailer. The secret is it's temporary for the guys to
Correct.
replace the building. That's all I wanna know, was it. what was
Correct.
the-
Yeah, we are going to move it after the remodel is done.
All right, good. No problem.
Yep.
If y'all wanna sell it, I'll probably buy it.
No, we have use for it. It's just, like I said, we need to get it where they can get out of that current trailer. So, any other comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
6, beer and liquor licenses, Jesuit Bend Market in the Park, 12888 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037 on November 16th, 2024, starting at 9 o'clock a.m. and ending at 2 o'clock p.m. Jesuit Bend Market in the Park, 12888 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037 on December 21st, 2024, starting at 12 o'clock p.m. and ending at 8 o'clock p.m. The Clubhouse Bar, 8133 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. Belchase Tobacco Discount, 8625 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. State Oil Fuel Center Incorporated, 7124 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. State Oil Fuel Center Incorporated, 7124 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. Iguanas Daiquiri Express Incorporated, 36179 Highway 23, Buras, Louisiana. Old Cellar Bar, 8480 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037. New Orleans Original Daiquiris, 8102 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana, 70037.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
7, building permits. 7A, construction permits. 1, Shell Pipeline Company LP, application number 2024-925, application date 8/16/24. Proposed is 2 anomaly repairs on the 16-inch Delta Naren Empire Pipeline, sections 23 and 25, Bucks Bay. Councilmember Kotnovich.
I'm gonna offer for Councilmember Conjure.
Second.
Offered by Mr. Jursich, second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open.
How did Mr. Brock miss out?
It was on East Bank. Passes 7-0 with 1 abstention by Mr. Kognovich. Next item, please.
B, Clubhouse Bar and Fireworks Debbie Kiefer Fireworks Renewal 2025, 8133 Highway 23, Belchase, Louisiana. Councilmember Champagne.
Offered by Mr. Champagne. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Gooey, Dr. Gooey. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
You got it, or you need me? There you go. You're on.
The following ordinance are being introduced by Councilmember Schultz. An ordinance to amend the 2024 operating expenditure budget, various funds, various departments, various line items, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to change the date of the Plaquemine Parish Council's second regularly scheduled meeting in January 2025 from January 23rd, 2025 to January 30th, 2025, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to execute, perfect, and enforce any and all required documents required for the raised grant awarded to the parish of to the Plaquemines Parish Government from the U.S. Department of Transportation and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Parish Government to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the LSPCA and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Parish Government to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the YMCA of Greater New Orleans and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution authorizing the Plaquemines Parish Government to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Plaquemines Parish Community Care Center and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next one is being offered by Councilmember Edwards, a resolution to authorize the submittal to the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, the 2021, 2022, and 2023 Municipal Water Pollution Prevention Environmental Audit Report, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next three are for Councilmember Champagne. An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of Wayne and Nancy Rollo, lots 11, 12, 13, and 14, square 59, Belle Chase Town Site, Belle Chase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, section 35, township 20 south, range 30 east, into lot 14A, square 59, Belle Chase Town Site, Belle Chase, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, section 35, township 20 south, range 30 east, as shown on plan and plat of survey by Dufresne and Surveying and Engineering, Inc., dated August 19th. The owners having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish Government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted by reference and which is paraph thereto, with reference to application number 2024-561, dated August 7th, 2024. A resolution approving the requested variance filed by Terrell Talamo to vary the required minimum rear yard setback of 25 feet to 60 feet and at R-1B, single-family residential zoning district on a portion of ground designated as Lot 79, Phase 1B, the Parks of Plaquemines subdivision, 201 Oak Park Court, Belle Chase, Louisiana, Plaquemines Parish, Section 2, Township 14, South, Range 24 East, all in accordance with the application number 2024-564, dated September 30th, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next three are for Councilmember Gouy, an ordinance to amend the 2024 operating revenue and expenditures budget, various funds, various departments, various line items, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 operating revenue and expenditure budgets, various funds, various departments, various line items, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2024 operating revenue and expenditure budgets, various funds, various departments, various line items, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next one is for Councilmember Newsom, a resolution ordering and calling an election to be held in the parish of Plaquemine, state of Louisiana, to authorize rededication, levy, and collection of a special sales and use tax therein, making the application to the Louisiana State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection therewith. The next four are for Councilmember LaFrance, an ordinance by the Plaquemines Parish Council as and on behalf of the West Bank Levy District, a new perpetual road easement in certain portions of land in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, by appropriation for construction of the New Orleans to Venice NOV West Bank Hurricane Protection Levy Project, NOV-NF-W-05A.1, Lower Seat to Myrtle Grove, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, for levee, floodwall, drainage, flood, access, and hurricane protection purposes and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, Port Sulphur 20-inch waterline relocation project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance by the Plaquemines Parish Council as and on behalf of the West Bank Levy District to extend existing temporary work area easements in certain portions of land in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, by appropriation to complete construction of the New Orleans to Venice NOV-NF-W-05A.2, Myrtle Grove to Wood Park Lee Project, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, for levee, floodwall, drainage, flood, access, and hurricane protection purposes and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and as amended, readopt ordinance number 24-200, establishing a temporary 6-month moratorium on the issuance of any permanent or temporary RV and RV parks permits for District 7, accepting applications received by the permit office on or before the 24th of October 2024, during which time a study shall be conducted to determine the need of appropriate legislation to regulate these issues and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the final ones are for Councilmember Konovich. An ordinance approving the extension of the lease between Plaquemines Parish Government and Shipyard Service LLC pursuant to LARS 41-1217, with all of its requirements having been fulfilled by leasee without any costs to Plaquemines Parish Government or the Parish of Plaquemines, and without warranty of title by the Plaquemines Parish Government, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the final one is an ordinance to amend and as amended, readopt ordinance number 21-201, which authorized an act of sale by Parish of Plaquemines to sell certain adjudicated properties, parcel number 1035700, by public auction and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Thank you. All right, let's go through the deferrals. 9A1 was deferred and will be reintroduced. 9B, as in boy, will be deferred. 9K through P are all going to be deferred into after the budget hearings. K through P. K, L, M, N, O, and P. I'm making sure. 9Q will be withdrawn and was reintroduced due to numerous changes. And that's all I got. Anybody else has any? Oh, and has anybody talked to Mr. Edwards about his one?
I'd say defer anything for.
Okay, that's what I thought I was going, so 9R will also be deferred until Mr. Edwards is here. All right, does everybody have that, or you need me to repeat it? Everybody's good. Next item, please.
Ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 982, an ordinance by the Plaquemines Parish Council as and on behalf of the West Bank Levy District to extend existing temporary work area easements in certain portions of lands in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana by appropriation to complete construction of the New Orleans to Venice NOV NFW 0582 Myrtle Grove to Wood Park Lee project. Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana for levee, flood wall, drainage, flood, access, and hurricane protection purposes and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Koknovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
C, an ordinance creating Operation Clean Sweep, which authorizes and directs the parish president or his designee to clean and maintain all ditches throughout the parish of Plaquemines and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Koknovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Oh, Mr. Witchers.
So, Mr. LaFrance, when we spoke earlier, you said you did meet with, or talk to Avery,
Yes, I did speak to Avery, and,
and his concern about the wording was
Right.
okay?
right, well, I didn't discuss about the wording. He said we was only concerned about, did this have any public value? And he was concerned about the manpower. And I spoke to you and I said.
It's my understanding, I mean, I don't know if Rennie and Avery have talked about it, but the word all was the issue that drove all of those other topics. So you are right, he did talk about those topics, but I would ask that you defer it till we clear that up with him, since we didn't have that meeting, unless you want me to text him now and see what the wording is the issue. But whatever you think.
I'm good.
Any other comments from administration? Yes or no? You look like you want to say something.
My only concern is the word all, and the thing is I think I heard something in the room here, is that it has to have a benefit. If it's a private ditch, we just can't go clean and sweep it unless it has an impact on the surrounding public value. Okay, all right. So we just need to know that not all of them can be or will be done. Okay.
But I want to get this move on because I know we're getting ready to do the budget hearing. And I'm anticipating that we might need to buy some new equipment.
But just so we're clear, the issue is, what we're talking about verbally is not what's written. We all agree on what those triggers are that make that possible.
Well,
That's not what it says
I
here.
really want to get this moving, and if we have to amend it, we'll amend it.
Let's just do a quick amendment on line number 12, where it says to clean and maintain all ditches, comma, consistent with the Constitution of the State of Louisiana, comma, and that would resolve the issue.
Kim, is that a clerical, or do we need to offer that with amendment?
If someone could offer that amendment,
Is it clerical or?
Danny?
Okay, Danny's saying offer. Okay, anybody wants to offer that?
I'll offer it with the changes.
Mr. LaFrance offered an amendment for consistent with the Constitution of Louisiana on line 12, second by Ms. McCarty. All right, at this point, any comments from the audience on the amendment? Administration on the amendment? Table on the amendment? Mr. Champagne, or
Amendment?
you want it on the amendment? Okay. Anybody has a comment on the amendment? All right, at this time, machines are open on the amendment. All right, the amendment passes 8-0. Now we're on the discussion on the ordinance as amended with that language. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Mr. Koknovich?
Why are we always fighting about the ditches down the road we don't have right of ways, but none of them, I don't hear nobody arguing about ditches in Belchase and Jesuit Bend and, because I see them getting cleaned all the time.
I don't think any more gets cleaned up
Oh, I know they
down
do.
the road, or if anything, East Bank gets cleaned more, I'll give you that. but maybe it's
Jesuit
because
been
the
on up,
representatives from
the
upper
ditch
end.
cutters, and we hire somebody with an excavator and a bush hog on it to clean ditches, and from Jesuit been on up.
Yeah.
But just this past week, I seen maybe 5 or 6 ditches in my district, but the 15-footers cut. But that was about it. But we never argue about ditches in Belchase don't have a right-of-way. Only the ones in Burris or down the road. And every ditch supplies drainage for the neighborhood, so that benefits the parish. Benefits every person in the district.
Mr. Champagne.
The term Operation Clean Sweep implies that this is a one-time effort, or is this going to be the new way of doing business? Because my concern is we can't keep up with what we got now. If we're going to add a bunch of ditches, I don't know if there's a plan, and I'm all for it. I'm all for making sure we improve our drainage, but have we considered the second-order effects of this thing if we add a bunch of ditches to this? You know, Mr. LaFrance talked about additional equipment. We obviously need more laborers. Have we really thought this out? Or is this a great idea that's going to end up hurting us because we're not getting the primary ditches done because we're trying to get every ditch. So then we end up causing more issues. Again, I want to make it clear I'm for doing this, but have we really thought this out and come up with a plan? I yield.
Yes, I know at the last meeting, we had questions about going to private property and needing a waiver and all that. Have we resolved all those questions legally?
That has never been a problem. I mean, look, going back 16 years ago, when I was on the council, I was able to go into certain neighborhoods and get a waiver because there would be a little drainage ditch that would go through in private properties because it would be a ditch, a drainage ditch in the back of the house, but it needed to get to the street or so. You just get a waiver. I mean.
Okay, so last meeting, we were talking about
So this
requiring.
is something that we haven't done for
I just want to make sure that
18 years.
that got resolved. I mean, I know that was a discussion last meeting, so.
Probably so, yeah.
If that's fine, then that's fine. You talked about Jesuit bid on up. I guess I'll talk to you, Mr. Witchers, about my servitudes that are causing drainage issue because they're not technically ditches, but they're servitudes, which again, it's causes drainage issues. So if this passes, I guess I'll be talking to you about some of those issues. So it's not just down the road. It's you could ask Mr. Witchers. I've been hounding him on drainage issues on servitudes. So, Mr. LaFrance.
Yes. You know, before, like you said, years before, we used to keep all these ditches clean. All of them.
Thank you.
Well, I don't want to get too loud. I don't want to get too passionate.
Come on.
But we used to keep all these ditches clean. We talk about we want to get this parish clean and make it presentable for business and industry and the people who live in it. You have to start somewhere. You have to start. First thing, we got to keep this land, we got to keep it dry. You can get these pumps running at 100%, but if you can't get the water to the pump, you're wasting in the wind. You're just wasting time. We trying to get our property dry and keep it maintained. These right-of-ways, these ditches, we've been doing it for years. Matter of fact, Mr. Rennie, when you was the attorney, I think you was the attorney, years back. I mean, we was doing it then. So the only thing we trying to say, these ditches has been overgrown. You have trees in it, and the water cannot get to the drainage canal. So if the water can't get to the drainage canal, we can't pump the water. It's plain and simple. And it becomes a hazard because it becomes a breeding ground for mosquitoes. So we're gonna have to maintain them and keep them. But if you do it the right way, it don't take as much manpower as what we trying to do with an A-boom instead of using some 15-footers and keep this clean. No matter if you just cut it twice a year or 3 times a year, it has to be done. It has to be. I yield.
Mr. Chair, we're good to go. We're fine with it.
There's still people in the queue. Mr. Kongovich.
Well, not just the rainwater now, because I talked to Billy today about it. We got all these new places on the, I call them new, on the 4-lane and down the road that isn't on the city sewage, has their own septic tanks and goes into the ditches. Now the water's backing up going towards the river because it can't get to the drainage canal. So that's a health problem.
Mr. Jursich.
Yes, we do have a manpower shortage. We can have all the equipment in the world, but if we don't have nobody to operate it, my suggestion would be that we start doing like we did with the grass cut. We start contracting out to someone to come in and take these certain areas. I think that would definitely get us caught up, and maybe after that we can keep up. That was just my opinion.
Ms. LaFrance.
The issue with the manpower, I send a couple of people to go, operators to go get hired. The process had took so long that the people say, Mr. LaFrance, I gotta go get a job. I can't wait 2-3 weeks to get hired. We have people that apply for the job, but the process takes so long that they have to go say, I have to pay bills, so I gotta go and get a job. So, but we have we have people that's workforce is coming down from Venture Global, and I spoke to some operators that they want to come back or they want to apply for the job. But we can't take 3 weeks or a month to hire an employee. We got to move. You have to move.
Can I just make a comment that the administration is not the one that does the hiring?
Correct. We are all aware of civil service. We are aware of that.
Should be doing, we should be, but anyway.
That's
Operator excavator?
we need to work on that side of things to streamline it, which I think we're going to look at next year. Mr. Skognevich.
We keep saying civil service. All we got to do is put it on one of them statewide elections. If it passes, it passes. If not, we didn't lose nothing.
I thought, okay, that's another subject that's going off the agenda item. Any other comments on this? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
D, an ordinance to adopt and implement an MS4 Stormwater Quality Management and Discharge Control Plan pursuant to the recommendations of the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality to regulate, prevent illegal pollutant substances from being discharged into parish storm drainage system in compliance with the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, to incorporate the said plan into Chapter 9 of the Plaquemines Parish Code as Article 3, Section 9, 200 et sec, and further authorizing parish presidents, parish directors, and managers to implement the provisions of the SWMP into the areas under their authority, to authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Yes, sir. Yeah, okay. This one needs me first because, yeah.
Aaron Ross, 156, Enos Camerland. If I'm reading this right, y'all talking about stormwater runoff and the discharge of stormwater, right? That's correct?
Part of it, yes.
That's the entire parish?
Yes.
I just want to let y'all know that on the East Bank, from Phoenix to White Dish, we don't have stormwater runoff. Because all the stormwater drainage been filled up with cement, remember? So we don't have that. And if the stormwater come, there is no way letting stormwater out. The only way we have is to pump it out. And our pumping station not up to 100%. I think we got 2 stations, they only got 1 that's up to 100%. So is this something that we could use money from or go until we could get our stormwater runoff or back open again or build some new ones?
That would be, we need to look into it. I mean, I don't have an answer, but I think we looked into it, engineering, and that's not the same thing that this is really addressing, correct?
if you eliminate what you're talking about, those were closed so that that back levy would get back in the federal system, okay? That is not what you think it's all about, okay? The stormwater is pumped out through the pump stations.
Yeah.
Okay? Throughout the parish,
All right.
okay? Those, we're never gonna reopen those, okay? I know you come up here quite often.
Yeah, but-
And ask for those to be reopened. I'm gonna tell you right now, we're not going to.
So the only way we have.
Federal government
Won't allow it.
won't allow that. So it's not a parish decision, it's not a state, it's a federal decision.
I know they say it don't benefit the people. If the water come in, there is no way for it to go, because from
The pump stations.
the pumping station.
Pumping station.
But so are we gonna get better pumping stations? Our pumping station's still obsolete.
Well,
So we don't have,
That's-
my comment was that we don't have stormwater runoff.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
We don't have it.
Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Ms. McCarty?
This reads like it may pertain to any type of pollutant that would run off of land into a drain. Well, I just wanted to comment that I know that in my district, I know that there has been intentional dumping of oil into, motor oil into drainage systems, and that eventually goes into our stormwater runoff and into the waterways. And DEQ has had trouble with having enough people to come out and check it in a timely manner. Like, for instance, they came out 6 months after to check to see if there was any residue left over. Well, we had had a lot of rain since then. And then I have other locals that may be intentionally just dumping into a drain. So I'm wondering if this also includes, besides motor oil, cooking oil.
State police, they'll come out.
Okay. So I'm very in favor of this. So I just wanted to say I'm very in favor of this. Thank you.
Any other comments? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
E, a resolution electing the chairperson of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2025 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
You got the fill in the blank? Or I can read it. All right, this is for chairperson for council will be Tyrone Edwards. With that, I ask for a second. Second by Mr. Kokrovich. Any comments from the audience? From administration? From the table, anybody queued in? I don't have a screen. If not, machines are open. Oh, hold on.
Wait,
All right.
what happened?
Any comments from the table? Machines are open. It's not me. It's going automatically voting. My days are numbered. Mr. LaFrance. Passes 8-0. Mr. Edwards is not here, but congratulations, Mr. Edwards.
Well, condolences.
Next item, please.
F, a resolution electing the vice chairperson of the Plaquemines Parish Council for the year 2025 and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Oh, you got it?
Yes. We're filling in the blank with Mark Konovich.
With that, I ask for a second. Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience?
Almost unanimous. I would say unanimous.
Administration. Table. Machines are open. Passes unanimously 8-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, I want to take H first because that will determine how G goes in a default. So take H before G.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to extend the state of emergency for the saltwater wedge intrusion declared on August 15th, 2024, and extended on October 2nd, 2024, accepting the August 2024 amendment for an additional 90-day period through February 16th, 2025, or until such time as the president or council terminates the same, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurisic. I want to be clear on what this one is. Based on what I am reading, this is to extend the state of emergency without the amendment, August 20th, for the RVs. As you can read in line 32 and 33, Plaquemines Parish Council believes the August 2024 amendment is not necessary to mitigate this parish emergency response to saltwater intrusion. So this one will extend the state of emergency without that amendment. I want to be clear that was this particular ordinance. Correct. So with that, any comments from the audience? Mr. Brock? Yeah, we'll put you a seat up front, man.
You just explained it to me, but can you explain it again?
So right now, we're under a state of emergency, and that the parish president put, and with that, under that, there was an amendment on August 20th that basically said no new temporary or permanent RV park permits will be issued.
Right.
This particular one, we have another one, if this one does not pass, extends the state of emergency, but this one removes that amendment. So it's just state of emergency, so people can then get RV permits if they so choose.
That's what
So this one removes you have a question? Okay, hold on. Okay, any other, you got anything else?
The only reason why I was wondering, because will that cause any problem for Mr. LaFrance area with the water line?
No, because he added the moratorium at the last meeting. So that's why he added that at the last meeting, I believe.
All right, that'll protect him.
Yes, sir. All right. Any other comments from the audience? Administration? Mr. Champagne?
Like, I'm reading this ordinance, and I think this needs to be clarified, because 9H clearly states to me that it says on line 22, no new temporary RV park permits
Correct.
will be allowed.
It says on line 19, he amended the original state of emergency by adding the following, and then it adds 22 through 30, and then on 32, it says the Plaquemines Parish Council believes the August 20th amendment is not necessary to mitigate it.
I just wanted to be clear,
Yeah.
because it's very nebulous here.
I know, but this one removes that whole amendment based on line 32 and 33 is the way I'm reading that.
And I think in the future, we need to just,
Be clear.
in the future, this needs to be clearly spelled out in the digest. That's why we have a digest.
I know,
To
that's
clearly articulate what we're trying to do, not to confuse the public.
correct.
And this is very confusing.
I agree.
So-
And this one was, when it got introduced, this one was supposed to be first, but it wasn't, and because of the way it was worded.
And I know that wasn't the intent at all. I know it clearly wasn't, but I think we can do a better job. We've been talking about digest. We added these on here. We need to speak plain English when we're talking to the public and people like me. I'm a simple guy. I need it pretty simple.
Yeah.
So, again, thank you for allowing me to clarify.
Correct, yeah. So this one, again, removes the amendment, still has a state of emergency, but removes the RV, temporary and permanent RV park permits restrictions. Any questions on any of that? Everybody understands what we're voting on? All right. Machines are open. Dr. Gui? Okay, it passes 7-1 with a no vote from Dr. Gui. Okay, so to be clear, the state of emergency extended without the amendment.
And we still have the.
And we still have the moratorium in District 7, though. With that, I'm going to withdraw G, because G was the one that still had the amendment on there. Everybody understands what just happened? What? Yeah, I'm withdrawing G. G was the same one, but with the amendment in there.
Can we get an update what nebulous means?
Hey, Brian, they're saying you using fancy words down here with nebulous. They're saying you.
Simple guy.
Oh, wait, hold on. All right, hold on 1 second. So we're withdrawing G 387114. All right, I. Correct?
Yes.
Correct, I.
An ordinance to amend the 2024 manpower structure and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Goggins. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the 2024 general fund operating expenditure budget permits, planning and zoning department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jursich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. You want me to explain it?
Please.
So a couple months ago, we all basically allowed Zach Smith through his company to hire somebody for permits or something. But when they started to charge that person, they took it out of his professional services contract. And basically, this is moving the position that was a position, our salaries, and moving the money from salaries to professional services to basically finish off the year for the contract. It's basically what it's doing. It's money moving within the department.
It's just cleaning it up
Yeah.
for finance. He provided a temporary permit check for us earlier in the year, but we were able to hire one.
Yeah.
And when we were billing for that, it came out of his CBO
Correct.
contract. We're just moving it from our general salaries back to it, and they created another code.
It's
And
no
we're going to
new-
recode those.
Correct. And it's no new money.
So we could finish out his CBO contract for the year.
All right. Ms. McCarty?
This is
It's no new money. I'm sorry. It's no new money. We're just moving it around within the budget.
This is just an ancillary contract, comments, rather. We've been working on trying to move forward with Esri, and I just hope that this stays within, using Esri and not another geo company, system, rather. Thank you.
Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
S, an ordinance to amend and readopt Chapter 13 of the Parish Code of Ordinances by enacting Article 10 Food Truck Regulations, establishing the rules and regulations regarding the permitting, operation, and sale of food products from mobile vehicles in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
I offer.
Offered, hold on. Offered by Mr. Newsom, second by, wait. I'm trying to catch up. Wait, okay, you take back your second? All right, do I have a second? So offered by Mr. Newsom, second by Mr. Champagne. All right, go ahead.
Just real quick, this was a legislation that we had voted on earlier in the year, and it failed, so it was brought to my attention by some folks that asked me to reintroduce it. It was reintroduced with most of the stuff that Councilman Schultz and Mr. Avery Riley worked on. Very well done, excellent legislation. The only thing different from there's two things different from the legislation that we voted on early in the year. It went back to a time from, as it was in the original document, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And also, we deleted some language on line 156 through 162. It was talking about what the parish president can do, and I don't think our current parish president would do this, but this is legislation protecting for the future, so that's why I was there. And with that, I answer questions from the audience.
Any comments from the audience? State your name and address, please.
South St. Philip, 110 Royal Crescent, Belchase. I appreciate you folks looking at the ordinance again and bringing it back up, Councilman Newsom and Schultz. really played a part in putting it together. I think it's a pretty fair ordinance for both sides. The restaurants around here are not wanting to beat the food trucks out of business. Everybody's got to make a living. And what we stated from Jump Street, from the start, was a level playing field for everybody. And I think this ordinance produces somewhat pretty close to that deal that we're looking for. But with the restaurants being out there, you know, people were a little upset and a little thing, but I think everybody came together and looking at the ordinance, and seems to work for the food trucks, seems to work for us. It's a good piece of legislation, like a wise man told me one time. Our ordinance is a work in process all the time. So we could come back and revisit it if it's not right. If it don't work, we work on it. But I appreciate the time and the effort that y'all put in doing it, and the rest of the people that own restaurants also.
You're happy with this?
Yes. I mean, look, we're not here to put them out. If we wanted that, we'd have took the stand from Jump Street. We don't want any at all. I mean, Gretna gets away with it and then works for the business people there. We're willing to share and work together, but there has to be some grounds and rules that go along with it. And I think we agree with that right here. I appreciate it.
Mr. Stowe, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
You're obviously a restaurant owner. I want your opinion. Do you have a problem if it was 24 hours? Honest opinion.
Straight?
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth. We, as a restaurant owner, it is absolutely crazy that bathroom facilities are not required. For you to open up 24 hours, that's your preference. Just my opinion personally, in a restaurant business, what happens with all that? I mean, I understand if you're working in just use the one by Sitco. All right, that place is open. When it closes, what happens? If you're open 24 hours a day, what happens with the facilities? It's got to be a safety issue, right? I mean, you asked my opinion.
Yeah, no, I want your opinion.
It's got to be a safety issue at all times. I mean, as many hoops that we jump through as a restaurant owner, you know, you got to get it right. Now, do they have facilities? Can you work behind it? Is the place open 24 hours a day? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many places in Plaquemines Parish open 24 hours a day. But in my personal opinion, I think that's the biggest problem with that rule. Is I don't know where to go. I don't even want to guess.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
It's a problem, in my opinion.
All right. Thank you. I want your just honest opinion. Wait. Well, you. Okay. Any other comments from the audience on this before I go around? Administration? I'll let you go first, Ms. McCarty. Let me clear myself, and then I'll cue back in. Go ahead, Ms. McCarty.
Mr. St. Philip, I understand that there are heavier requirements for a restaurant than there are for food trucks. For instance, the type of sink that you have to have. And you don't even have, it's just an example. You don't even have the capacity within a food truck to have the same type of sink. I'm trying to figure out, it seems that a food truck can be mobile and go to where the people are, and because of other issues going on in the parish, like traffic, where some of the restaurants are not able to be as flexible. Thank you.
Well, as far as the requirements, they're supposed to have the same stuff, right? 3 compartment sinks, hand wash sinks, stuff like that. You can purchase a food truck with a restroom in it, probably about $15,000 more, but to me, that's a cost of doing business.
And should we be requiring
is.
things like that?
I mean, I think in 2025, we have to have certain bathrooms and stuff like that, not restaurants. And yeah, you know, as far as different stuff, I'm not sure, like Hollinger system, stuff like that. I mean, it's all safety issues, safety and health issues. You know, so what they run with and what we run with is definitely different, you know? I mean, our cost of operating, you know, liability insurance and everything like that, hey, I'm not crying about that. All I'm looking for is a level playing field. And I think every restaurant owner in Belchase is looking for the same thing also, you know? But yeah, it's a difference. It's a difference.
So I mentioned earlier on the other ordinance for Department of Environmental Safety. DEQ. That I've had calls from people not even in my district saying that there are places that are dumping oil into the drainage system. And I can't do anything about it because it happens and it's gone, you know? So I'm just wondering if there's anything that can be, in your opinion, added, or what is your opinion of that?
We have to have grease
Can you help
traps.
me?
We have to have grease tanks. There's stuff that you could put in mobile units to, a grease catcher to make it work. That's not my cup of tea, but they have it available. As far as like units, most of these people are not moving around anymore. Most of them are stationary where they're at. You know, I mean, I don't notice many people moving. They have companies out there that'll buy the grease. They'll put a tank there and buy the grease. I mean, there's usable solutions that can work. You know, so I don't know. I just like getting back to Mr. Schultz's thing. There's a lot of issues with it, with the 24 hours a day, and I don't think that this parish is nowhere ready to assume that risk and liability with that, because it definitely comes to a safety issue. And I'm not saying the food trucks are horrible. I'm not saying that they put out bad stuff. I'm just saying that there's issues with.
So as a restaurant representative, you're still ready to have this version move forward?
It's the best version that we came up with so far. I don't think it's 100%, but I think it's the closest thing that works for everybody.
Point total on the sound. Give me, I can't
Well,
even
you-
understand. Whoa.
Hey, look,
I did say your name.
I'm sure down the line, and I appreciate the help. I told you that. I definitely appreciate the help with y'all guys.
Okay.
But I think it's something that works for everybody. The food truck industry, they have a straight line to go down. The parish has a straight line to go down, and we know where we stand. So it's pretty simple. It's, everything has a yin and a yang. So it may be a problem tomorrow that we didn't see. Maybe
Correct.
something that we have to readdress.
Because the original one had problems that we didn't see, and that's where this is coming in to make those changes.
Well, I appreciate you guys even looking at it again to do that. I mean, that says a lot.
Yep. All right. Well,
Anything else?
no, that's it. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
When you go for the sinkholes, 110 Royal Crescent, look at that one. It's like probably a foot down. Thank you.
So my comments are, obviously, since this was mostly my legislation a couple months ago. Well, it was all my legislation. I'm obviously in favor of this because we sat down with the restaurants, and worked on this. We sat down with the food trucks, and they pretty much agreed to, come in line. They're trying to follow the rules. They want to follow the rules. We had issues with the 24 hours early on, and a lot of us, including permits, did not know that there was a time restriction. And since then, I have not had many complaints, or if actually any complaints about the time since they cracked down. I might be wrong. Jeff, you're shaking your head like you agree. So my main issue is we're trying to say they need to come in line with this and follow all the rules, not all the rules, but as many of the rules as the restaurants do. But then we say, well, y'all can't operate 24 hours. And to be honest, these food trucks are not going to operate 24 hours. They might operate midnight to 11 o'clock. But that way they can have that option of working the middle of the night for the mainly Venture Global. But that's my main concern is we're saying you have to follow as many rules as the restaurants can, but we're not going to allow you to follow this rule. I know it's not apples to apples, but my example is the donut shop, the new donut shop in Dr. Gooey's district doesn't really have sit down in there, but the Townview does. So are we going to restrict the donut shop hours and Dewey's district hours because he doesn't have sit down or a bathroom? I don't think there's a bathroom. So there's one. Okay. But it's not as much. It's a bar, but type deal. But I know, like I said, it's not apples to apples. But I'm sure there's another example of I know, kind of like the old Mimi's was really pick up and go. So did we restrict their hours? I know now they have sit down and all that, but the old place really didn't have sit down. So I'm not fond of the hours restriction while we're saying they have to follow all the rules. And that was pretty much when we met with them. Their one request was most of them were saying we'll be willing to follow all the rules, but we want to operate basically some of them 2 o'clock in the morning because of the traffic or the workforce going in and out of Venture Global. And that's one complaint that I hear from workers that are local and some that are not local but are renting in my neighborhoods. There's no options at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because everything's closed. So again, I get what you're saying is enforcement. How do we enforce it? But they're trying to follow the rules. So I don't know yet. I'm going to let Mr. Newsom talk.
Well, that's it. I got one.
All right. I yield.
Yes, and the reason is for, like we talked about, and Mr. St. Phil brought up about some enforcement. Look, we're not looking, this is not wanting to put anybody out of business, no, by no means, and nothing like that. Do whatever we can to assist. I have spoke to some of our local vendors, and they were, the local food truck folks, parish residents, they were okay with it. But again, why I was on the hours frame is because it would be almost impossible for our health department to, because they're gonna, and look, they'll skirt the time frames, and we all know that. So this puts a little regulations when our health department's working. If they have problems, they can go check and make inspections on a basis that they feel needed, and that's why the time was put into that. With that, I yield, Mr. Schultz. And also, I want to thank Mr. Schultz again. For putting this legislation together. It was very, very well done.
I thought you said it was gonna be one little thing.
Yeah. So I got a question for legal. On line 187, it says vendors shall operate between the hours of 7 to 10 p.m. unless otherwise approved by the council. So if we want to allow, let's just say 5 and see how enforcement works, do we have that authority to somehow approve that? It says unless approved by the council.
What line are you looking at?
187 and 188. I know it gets into the rules for so-and-so and not for others, but if we want to do a trial basis and approve 2 to 3 and see how that works, and then we can come back, open it up later.
What's that?
I'm just kind of curious. I just noticed
Your
that.
question is if y'all allow it,
Unless otherwise
permit is
approved.
issued?
Yeah, unless otherwise approved, do we have the authority to do like a trial
I think
basis?
what this is saying is that, look, and maybe this could have been, I'd have to talk to Avery because I don't know the exact intent, but it's not permittee specific, but location specific. So if at a certain point, perhaps y'all want to authorize in a given location longer hours because it won't interfere with constituents or a
So we have-
neighborhood
okay.
or whatever, then I think we could do that. But honestly,
Yeah, I don't want to get into picking.
Yeah,
but if we can,
but
if
we're
we
not
want to do a
gonna-
trial
we're
basis.
not
at
going
a
to let
certain
some go
location.
longer and others go.
Okay, so, but we can do a certain location and see how that works.
Right.
Maybe we'll do that and do a trial basis somewhere, pick somewhere and just see if it works. If it doesn't work, then it's fine as is. Okay, I yield. Mr. LaFrance.
I was just wondering, we discussed the issue with traffic with employees with Venture Global. And they spread out the workforce during the time. So if people is going to work at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, where they get their lunch at? Where are they going to get their lunch at?
A lot of them, I think, bring their lunch. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Buy me a pack of ham and a loaf of bread at the store.
That's all.
Okay. Mitch, you got anything? I thought you had something. All right, machines are open. Passes 5 yeses, 1 no, 2 abstentions from, okay, 1 no from Ms. LaFrance, and 2 abstentions from Mr. Jurisic and Ms. McCarty. Next item, please.
C, an ordinance to authorize an act of sale by the parish of Plaquemines to sell certain adjudicated properties and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
You want to offer it? Offered by Mr. Kognovich, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Yes, sir. Pierce River Road.
On the east bank.
You have a comment or, okay. Any comments from administration? No. Mr. Newsom.
Yeah, Randy, are you putting this legislation together? Because this is the second time it's been done under Mr. Francis' name, but it's actually in Mr. Conovich's district. I know it.
Me.
Okay. Question answered. Thank you.
You know, I'm gonna have to check with EMP. I think what EMP drafts these for us, and I think what they've done is when he was chairman, they haven't changed it, and so I think that's why maybe they're all coming under you. So I'm honestly just realizing that. So I'll get with them and make sure we do the district where the parcel is located.
Give him to Chris Schultz. That's
No, I'm done. I got 30, 40 something days. Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
Do a resolution authorizing and directing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to assist the Plaquemines Parish Fair and Orange Festival and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered by Mr. Kognovich, second by Mr. Jurisic. Any comments from the audience? Administration. Table. Mr. Newsom.
No, just remember that Orange Fest is, there we go, just for everybody, for the public. Thank you.
Say it in the mic.
First weekend of December. Machines are open.
X.
We voting on this, but we already had the coronation. I will cheat it.
Mr. Newsom, you a verbal yes?
Verbal, yeah.
Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to approve the amended pay plan and classification schedule adopted by the Civil Service Commission on September 25th, 2024, to provide a revision of 3 job class position titles with no changes in pay grades within the ambulance department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer ask for a second. Second by Mr. Kognovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
And approval of the minutes from the October 24th, 2024 regular meeting.
Offered by Mr. LaFrance, second by Mr. Kognovich. Any comments from the audience? Table, or administration? Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
11, new business, introduction of resolutions where suspension is being sought. A resolution to approve the submittal of a water sector program Phase 2 application for funding through the Louisiana Office of Community Development and to authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
I will offer on behalf of Mr. Edwards, this is to add 11A2 to the agenda. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Kognovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? This is to add 11A2 to the agenda. Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next, we'll take both of them up for suspension.
What are we on, 11?
A resolution authorizing the parish president to extend the state of emergency for Tropical Storm Francine an additional 90-day period if necessary or until such time as the Plaquemines Council terminates the state of emergency and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to approve the submittal of a Water Sector Program Phase 2 application for funding through the Louisiana Office of Community Development and to authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
I offer for suspension. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Karnovich. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machines are open for suspension. All right, that suspension, that now we'll take 11A1.
A resolution authorizing the parish president to extend the state of emergency for Tropical Storm Francine an additional 90-day period if necessary or until such time as the Plaquemines Council terminates the state of emergency and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer, ask for a second. Second by Ms. McCarty.
Mr. Chairman, can we do an offer with changes? My staff cut and paste some language in here that just needs to be.
All right, go ahead.
So on lines 33 to 38, just scratch it all out except for be it resolved by the Plaquemines Parish Council that it hereby authorizes the parish president to extend the state of emergency titled Tropical Storm Francine issued on the 9th day of September 2024 through March 8, 2025 pursuant to LRS 29727D1. I'll make sure you get that.
You didn't catch all that? All right, I offer with changes. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Newsom.
And this is, we still have some levy work on back there, so that's why we're asking for an extension.
All right, any comments from the audience? Administration? Yeah, last week we got a vote. Table? Machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please.
A resolution to approve the submittal of a Water Sector Program Phase 2 application for funding through the Louisiana Office of Community Development and to authorize the parish president to sign, execute, and administer any and all relevant documents and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Edwards. I offer on behalf of Mr. Edwards. I ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jursich. Just for the public, since this is not on the agenda, this is to apply for a grant. It's going to be to replace some water lines on the East Bank. Since Mr. Edwards is not here, I offer it on behalf since this is just applying for the grant. And with that, we have.
There's a zero missing. It should be 5 million instead of.
Yeah,
We
online.
just need to add a zero. Line 15.
I see it. Yeah, on line 15. All right. Any comments from the audience? No comment, Mr. Brooks? You're good. It's replacing water lines. Administration, table, machines are open. Passes 8-0. Next item, please. I will defer B since we already kind of talked about that earlier.
D, public hearings regarding the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances relative to code enforcement. Councilmember Dewey.
No, you're on, Mr. Gui.
I just wanted to let the public know that in December, we will be considering some amendments to our Code of Ordinances relative to enforcement and abatement. The details are in the document. And anyone who wants to know more about that, they can call me at 504-297-5304. And I know that's going to go out on YouTube. But
Spam calls coming. Spam calls are coming. Spam.
Is that your office number?
That's my office number, yeah.
I'm joking. I'm messing with you. You're gonna get
okay.
spam calls because you just put the phone number out.
That's my spam, all right. 504-297-5304. So if you have any concerns about that, and I'm going to real briefly for conserve time, let everyone know that at our budget hearings, we are going to be considering the enactment of a code enforcement official who will be the person in charge of following through on violations of our code enforcement This is amended to what we already have because what we're having has not really worked as well as we'd like to have worked. The legal department, particularly Avery, Riley, and of course, Mr. Rennie Burris have worked diligently on this for what, Rennie, 6, 8 months, a year? Visited other parishes, towns that have effective code enforcement ordinances in regards to enforcement and abatement. So I'm going to leave it at that. The vote will take place in December. Of course, if we don't get the budget appropriation for it, then there'll be no vote in December because that will be fruitless.
You done, Doc, or you got more?
That's not the right number? There's no 297 anymore? Well, I've been here a while, and this is an old phone, so. Yeah, office phone number.
Now you know why nobody calls you.
I don't care, it don't bother me at all.
All right, hold on. 934 6346. 934 6346. That's his number, not mine. You done, Doc?
Okay, that's it.
Mr. LaFrance, well, Mr. LaFrance has a comment on this.
Okay. I spoke to, Mr. Rowley this morning, and I spoke to him about the only concern that I had was dealing with elderly people that's on fixed income. And if it was possible that they couldn't afford to do any type of renovation to their home or anything, were there any type of grants or any type of service or any type of program that can assist them in that? And he told me, that was a good question.
Yeah, and we brought that up, I think maybe in our preliminary hearings that was brought up. And I've asked Ms. Crystal to have access to agencies that can provide that assistance, and that the hearing officer would take that into consideration if it even went that far. My hopes and prayers are that if we get to that point, that we're able to help individuals by providing them with areas of assistance that they can pursue prior to a hearing. Yeah, and I know that may be few and far between, but it's very important because that's going to come up. I know that's going to come up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
All right. Next item.
D, District 8 update mosquito spraying. Councilmember Jurisic.
I spoke with Mr. DeMarco a little bit about this the other day. We are getting tons and tons of calls on the mosquito truck not spraying. Of course, when I talked to you yesterday, the day before, the mosquito truck was in Port Southwood that night. First time I seen it. I'm not gonna lie, at my house and everything, it's been 3 months or more since I've, seen, heard, or smelled anything to do with mosquitoes. And look, my thing is, we charging people, and it's only $7 or $10 for businesses. But I can't keep charging people if they're not gonna get the service. So we gotta do a much better job, or we're just gonna have to, if we can't keep up with it, I don't know what else to do. I think Mr. Newsom may be looking at some other options. But if we gotta do a better job. And I know we ran out of chemical, and I'm still trying to figure out how, because I know it's not all, where did it go? And I know there's a lot of other costs involved, but I'm pleading that we gotta do something better. Because, we get the calls, especially when you live more in the rural areas where there's you got a lot more woods and marsh and, wet spots and everything. And I guess I could say down the road, but up the road too. It just depends on where you are. But we just saw when we came in this building today, they were sitting by the elevator waiting to get in with us, and they followed us up here. So it's just that bad. We got to look at We gotta try to come up with a better solution. I just can't keep charging people for services they're not getting. I mean, that's just the way I'm looking at it. And I'm hoping we can fix it before we have to cut that fee and find money elsewhere to spray for mosquitoes.
I'm going to add the same thing. I mean, you can't step outside after 4:30, 5 o'clock. I mean, the other night I got home and just getting from my car to my house, it was, I mean, I got bit up. My daughter got bit up. And Mr. Newsom and I has been asking around multiple people in multiple areas when the last time they saw it, and nobody can tell us when. And I'm up to 11:30 every night in the front room. I haven't heard it, smelled it, same thing. And we just gave y'all money, and I saw the truck one time since then. And I understand we had bad weather this week, but based on the schedule, it looks like they're supposed to be spraying the areas twice a week, basically, and nothing. Looking at the budget to actual, I mean, we spent the money. We still have about $17,000 left for chemicals, but we got to do something. I'm almost to the point also to remove that fee and say, sorry, or look into other option, privatizing it. I know St. Bernard does private mosquito spray in St. John. What? Get some bats, something. But I mean, we can't keep charging people because I don't know how many times I got phone calls. I mean, especially with Halloween that just happened. I mean, the calls I got after Halloween, the calls I get right now with football season. You probably get some calls, Miss Morrison, with football games going on every night and everything. It's just we either got to do something or take the fee off and say we're not going to spray anymore and go buy a can. I hate to say it, go buy a can off, but people don't want to pay for something that they're not getting. So I know we say, oh, it goes to other things, but did a little research. It's not going to the testing like it's claimed. We spent less than $500 this year on testing is what I found out. So, Miss McCarty.
I live along a canal, and I also have a lot of mosquitoes in my area. But I'm going to go to that other topic.
Yeah, bring up.
So all fun aside, I wanted to mention that after we talked about bats the last time, I got a phone call from a parish employee. Apparently, he's a supervisor or something. And he said that during the off season, he was requesting if we could find a way to make houses for bats, the employees to do that. You know, I've just thrown it out there because I got a phone call the next day and somebody asked to do that. So, funny or not, there we go.
Also, I know when it was right before Halloween, you said it was the end of the spraying season, but we're going to spray until chemicals run out. But as we can tell, we're in mid-November and mosquitoes we don't have we will probably only have 1, maybe 2 months of no mosquitoes, which is January, February range. So we need to be spraying as long as they're out. I know as long as we have chemicals also.
I found it, I was kind of surprised when I learned that there was a spraying season in South Louisiana. I didn't think there was such thing as a spraying season. We have mosquitoes year round. I just didn't understand why. I directed the department, weather permitting, spray on your regular schedule.
Correct. Yeah, because
regardless of whatever.
One of the questions I get by residents is, well, I'm paying for the fee all year. Why aren't we spraying all year when we still have mosquitoes? So we got to do something. I know we might talk about that next week at the budget hearing with budgets and all that. So I yield. You done, Mr. Jurisic? Yes, sir. Next item, please.
E, District 7 update, Councilmember LaFrance, dead ambulance battery, garbage collection, mosquito spray, and water line replacement, Lake Hermitage report, update on Suzie Bayou project, update on Renee Ann car accident.
Yes. Number one.
Oh, wait, hold on, let me turn. Sorry, I didn't turn you on. Go ahead.
Yeah. Number one, dead battery for the ambulance. The time when we had the accident with the police officer, I think that was on Good News.
Yes.
And that was a dead battery on the ambulance. So I know Grant Solis had to take him personally in his automobile. You know, we have to make sure that our ambulance, that we keep our ambulance in tip-top shape. The update, go ahead, you want to.
I'm sorry. Look, I understand that should never be an excuse. That was an isolated incident. It didn't affect the response time to the accident because the EMT jumped in their personal vehicle and was on scene in minutes. And the ambulance was actually
En route.
en route, less than a minute behind them.
Correct.
So again, I'm not making excuses for a dead battery, but in that isolated incident, the response time wasn't affected by it.
And I'll add that I was on scene as volunteer firefighter, and like he said, the EMT came in a personal vehicle, was on scene right as they were pulling off, and found out after, because I actually was in the ambulance getting right back to my vehicle after it was a complete chaos. But it was an accident. They hit a switch when they were getting out, and that's what caused the dead battery. I mean, accident, and no excuse, but that's basically what happened.
They were actually
they were en route. They were actually recharging the battery, driving
they were
around.
recharging the battery when the call came in, so they were aware of it. It was a like Chairman said, it was a strange incident. They're on top of that most of the time. That was just a strange incident. But yes, I agree with you. That shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, and I understand that, but you know, when you have your family member.
Absolutely.
On an update with the accident of our employees, we were supposed to get a report, and I didn't receive anything.
I'm gonna let Randy speak on that.
Fatal accident.
You talking about Mr. Encore?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd rather talk about that offline, so if you
Okay,
want to get
and I
together
understand
tomorrow,
that.
we can talk about.
I still would like to see, give us a report, all of us, that was our employee, and we would like to know what are we doing to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
Okay.
What protocol we had done.
All right. Yeah, when we get back, I'll get with the folks involved and we'll get you guys something.
Yeah, 'cause that's a very touchy situation for me, 'cause that was my friend. The residents from Lake Hermitage, garbage collection, they asked me to put this on the agenda again. So, the residents from Lake Hermitage.
Just state your name and address for the record.
John Mathern, 116 Cass Lane. Several months back, I guess the garbage truck quit coming over the bridge to collect the garbage on the south side. I was never given an exact reason. I believe it was something to do with a road dispute. Dr. Sutter lives next door to me at 2809 Hermitage. He's 88 years old. He is paying to have his garbage taken across the bridge. I'm not sure the reason, but that's my concern. Does anyone know exactly why they quit collecting our garbage?
Well, do you have anybody else that's going to speak after you?
Yes.
Okay, could we get all this done first?
Sure.
And then we're gonna respond.
Okay.
You can stand up there if you want.
Sit, Mr. Brox.
How you doing? My name's Terry Shelley. I live at 154 High Reed Road in Port Sulphur. I own property at camp on Lake Hermitage East Cass Drive. And I'm here to concern to find out why we don't get the garbage picked up. I hear street talk, I hear talk, because it's a private lane, but that road's been there for about 75 years. So how is one side to buy it private and the other side's not? I never ever found out the real reason of why they won't pick it up. It's been picked up for years and years until this administration come along, got 2 flat tires on his wheels, on his wagons, it don't roll. And I'd like to know why
we don't get our garbage picked up. That's all I'm asking.
Glenn Nelson, 214 West Cass Lane. Like these other two gentlemen, I'm just wondering why our garbage can't be picked up. You know, my family has been down there since 1939. And it just seemed like all the years in the past, we really hadn't had a big problem with just about anything. But this garbage thing, I would think the council would have better things to do than deal with a few people that need their garbage picked up. I don't see where the big deal is. And just like these other gentlemen were saying, why should we pay for something that we're not getting, you know? And that's basically what I wanted to say, and just wondering why we're not getting our garbage picked up and the reason why. Thank you.
Name's Richard Cotton. I live at 120 Delta Street in Belchase. I have a place at 191 West Bayou Lane down at Lake Hermitage. And I'm just here to support Clay. I know he's been having some problems with his trash pickup. And he's been actually really inconvenienced. He's been having to come to my place because I have a big concrete slab where it's easy to get all of his cans across the road and be picked up on my side. My property is like at the end of the parish road. It's a gravel road, but from there on, it's private. The guard truck picks mine up, but continues on to the end of the road, turns around, backs up, turns around, and leaves. I know that the parish has been picking his up for 30 years or more. I just was curious, what can y'all do to help him today, or what he needs to do for him to be able to get his trash picked up again? Thank you.
My name is Clay Boudreau. I live at 200 West Cass Lane. I was here about a month ago, and I initiated the conversation, and it was due back to Labor Day weekend last year. The parish quit picking our trash up because of the condition of the road, and as I said then, rightfully so. It was horrible. I want to echo the fact that we picked up, we collected $18,000. We fixed our road with the hopes that the parish would start picking up our trash again. I've had a couple of conversations with the president and director, and every conversation I had with them was very positive. Every time I left the conversation, I thought that we was going to start getting our trash picked up. But here we are today, a year and 3/4 later, 10 months after we put the $18,000 worth of material on the road, and we're still fighting and struggling to get our trash picked up. So I want to start off and ask the parish attorney, sir, I don't know your name, but I want to ask you, is it illegal for the parish truck to go down a private road and pick up trash?
It's not illegal for the parish to go down a private road to pick up trash if the residents are paying for the service. What I've advised, however, though, is the parish doesn't have an obligation to go down a private road if the condition is such that the parish feels it could damage the road further, or it's unsafe or not feasible, for the truck to go down there. But there's nothing that prohibits us from going down a private road if they're paying for it.
Okay. So how do you differentiate one road could be damaged and the other road can't? How does that work?
It's up to the drivers and it's up to the director. I mean, some private roads are built to standards, like Pleasant Ridge, for instance. That's built to standards that were approved by the engineering department, and the trucks can go down there because they're not going to damage the road. But if the roads are damaged, it's done by case basis, and if it's unsafe or if the parish feels they're going to damage the road further, or there's not turnaround area, or for whatever reason, that's a decision that's made by the administration or the driver.
Yeah, that's very hypothetical then. You know, it's just, I mean, there's no records of what road was built back there, when was it built, how was it built. So that's just everything you just said, respectfully so, but it's hypothetical because nobody has any history on the data on how those roads were constructed. Okay, so we had a meeting, the president, the director, Carlton and myself, after the last time I talked, and both of those guys came to the meeting with reasons why they can't pick up our trash rather than looking for reasons why they could help us. The director told me the reason why they pick up trash on West Bayou Lane and not Cass Lane is because the truck can turn around in a forward motion without having to back up. And I asked him, I said, what's wrong with backing up? And he said it was dangerous to back up that truck. Now, as the people spoke before me, the trash truck has been picking up our trash for 30 years. If you can envision a road coming and then turning, the truck comes and he turns, he backs up and he leaves. And Billy said it was dangerous for the truck to back up. That was another reason that he came up with during the meeting, that the truck could turn around across the bayou without having to back up. So, Mr. LaFrance, do you have the video?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna play a video right now.
I can't play it, though.
Okay. Well, then I'll narrate it then. After the meeting that we had, I went across the bayou. The garbage truck comes down the lane, West Bayou Lane across the bayou. There's two big stop signs by a camp that indicates the end of the road. There's 4 camps beyond the stop signs. And I want to add 3 of those 4 camps are prominent, successful business owners in his parish. But it's all private property. The road does not continue for the 4 camps. The trash truck passes the stop signs, goes onto the private property, goes down to the last camp, makes a half circle, backs up about 10 foot away from a 500-gallon propane tank, pulls up almost to about maybe 18, 20 inches away from a truck, because I was right there videoing it, and picks up 1 trash can. Then he backs up again because he's up against a camp. He backs up again to pull forward to leave, to come to the stop signs, to get on a private road to go. So he's not only going on a private road across the bayou, he's going on private property. So,
Mr. Boudreaux?
Yeah.
We have a 5-minute time limit, so.
I got to get this, man.
I know,
you gotta let me finish this because I'm not coming back here.
How much longer?
I'll go ahead and go through a couple other topics.
Well,
On this
30 seconds.
Okay, on this administration, truck after truck after truck of limestone has been put on that road, and the parish grader was pushing it out under this administration, and I'm happy for those people. They got a good hit on their road, and it didn't cost them nothing, but it cost us $18,000 to fix our road.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
You got to let me finish this, man.
Wait a. I would like to make a motion that we allow Mr. Clay to continue past the 5 minutes.
Do I have a second? Second by Ms. Sconridge. Anybody opposed?
Okay, I was rushing,
All right,
but I'm
so-
calm down now.
Anybody opposed, or? Nobody opposes? Okay. How long you said? Additional 5?
Give him an extra 5.
You got an extra 5 minutes.
Okay. So the reasons were, the first one was very legitimate. It was the condition of the road. The second one was the truck all pan was dragging on the bridge. That I told you last time, that was debunked. And they both agreed with me that was a lie. The trash truck cannot go on private lanes. They're going on private lanes, and the parish attorney just addressed that. The truck cannot turn around safely. He's backing up in their backyards over there, so that's a lie. And then, so I wanted to table the limestone, not to hurt anybody, because I'm happy for them people. Guys, listen, previous administrations have given us a 5-mile-long paved road. They've given us a city water line. They've given us a concrete bridge and a brand-new firehouse. And this administration is trying to take away our garbage collection rights. And I can look you in the eye, sir, and tell you that that is sad. That would you have a personal vendetta against somebody over there?
We offered up a solution, but you chose not to work with us.
To get a dumpster?
Mr. President, Mike, please.
He's good. Yeah.
Sorry, I was.
Clay, can you just, can you?
I didn't, I was asking.
Okay.
I was answering a question.
So the other reason was now that they can't pick up trash generated by travel trailers. There's 92 travel trailers back there. I have 14. That leaves 78 travel trailers that are generating trash, that the garbage truck is picking up trash back there. And I want to add that my 14 travel trailers are permitted. They can't pick up my trash. It's a reason in the letter that he sent me, the email that he sent me, it's a reason that they can't pick up my trash because I have travel trailers. There's 78 other travel trailers back there that's generating trash with Plaquemines Parish garbage cans in front of the trailers. I mean, how far do we have to go? How much do we have to fight? In my opinion, they're being bullies because all the authority is on their side of the fence. We have no authority. We're just coming in here to say, man, this is not right. What in the world are we fighting over? This should have been an easy layup. We fix the road. I make the call. He tells this one to start picking up our trash like they did for 30 years. I just can't, it's insane, man, to think that I got to stress out to come here and talk in front of you people about getting garbage collection. If there's something else we need to do, we're on board. We're good. But just don't tell us you're not going to pick up the trash or go get a dumpster because you got travel trailers and you're picking up 78 other travel trailers trash. I mean, come up with a legitimate reason. It's sad, man. It's just terrible that I've got to, we all have to, I didn't get half the people. This is the ones that could take off of work. But everybody's been talking to me all year saying, Clay, what happened on this? What happened on that? Give me an update. I can't tell them nothing because these two guys don't want to pick up our trash. And I don't know why. I never knew either one of them before this. It's not like they're mad at me. I don't know either one of these guys.
Mr. Clay.
But why are they not picking up our trash?
Mr. Clay, hold time. Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I would like to make a motion that we start collecting the garbage on Cass Lane. That's West Cass Lane?
Yes.
Yes,
Well, as a resolution,
there's a resolution.
can we,
Well, does it have to lay
What?
over 2 weeks?
wait, hold on. You should be on. Oh, that's Edwards. Go ahead, you're on now.
If it's going to be a resolution, you would need to
Add it to the agenda,
add it to
suspend
the
it.
agenda, suspend the rules as a resolution.
Yeah.
I mean, if he just wants to make a motion, I mean, ordinarily I'll do everything by resolution, but if he just wanted to make a motion, he could. But ultimately, like I said, if you want to do a resolution, you would need to go through the process because it's adopting an instrument.
So can you just make a motion?
Yeah.
Let's see what, okay, so do we vote on it? I mean, I'm assuming.
I don't think you'd have to amend the agenda to vote on it because the garbage collection issue is on your agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, but we still got to vote.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Okay. So, motion by Ms. LaFrance to pick up, I'm going to let you talk. Okay,
I make a motion to start collecting the garbage on West Cass Lane.
all right, do I have a second?
Do I have a second?
Second by Mr. Cognich. Okay. Any comments from the audience on the motion? I got you, Mr. Cognich. Mr.
I think we've heard this.
Any comments from administration?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Would you guys be willing to sign a waiver? Did I hear yes?
Well, Go ahead.
Okay.
That is an
And-
absolutely from everybody.
Okay, all right, well, good. And can I ask you, what is the condition? I was on that road, Labor Day weekend, and the condition of the road right now,
Francine put some potholes in it, just like it did on West Bayou Lane
All right.
across the bayou with the rain
Know
that we've been
that-
having. We've got some potholes, but they're very shallow.
okay, but know that as soon as that truck goes down that road, it's only gonna get worse, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, now, another thing too, and I don't know to speak on this right here, but I can only know at the corner where your place is, there's only a left-hand turn, if I'm not mistaken, okay? So this is not the same situation as that's on the other side of the bayou.
It's worse on the other side. Yes, I got a video of it, and I wish we could
Okay.
show it.
All right, well,
Hold
then
on,
you know
it's
what?
worse.
Here's what I'd like to do. I will take time out of my day, and I will go back down, Billy and I will go back, and I just want to walk it with you.
Yes, sir. No problem.
And
I'll
just
be
make
glad.
sure that we're doing something safe, because backing these big trucks up, it's a dangerous thing to do. I know we don't have it, I don't believe there's any children around or anything like that, but there's always that possibility, you know?
I can assure you that the turnaround by us is safer, and he has more room than the turnaround in somebody's backyard. And I don't mean to say that belligerently. I'm just saying that we're okay there.
Okay, so, we just, Billy, go ahead if you want to.
You done? So, thanks again for coming, Clay. We've talked about this over and over again. Thank you to the four people who came and talked at the beginning. But let's, roughly 15 private roads along Lake Hermitage Road, right, roughly? Only one of them is a public road, and it's really only half of that. That's West Bayou. Right?
Correct.
From the firehouse halfway down is public. That's the only one. Every one of those other roads, they roll their garbage cans out to Lake Hermitage Road, right? Everybody's seen that, 10 cans, 5 cans, whatever. The only
No,
two
that's, excuse me, that's false. Because East Bayou Lane, West Bayou Lane, and Z-Ball Lane does not do that.
The only two exceptions are the non-public end of West Bayou and the big horseshoe that goes around, which is East Bayou and turns into whatever the name you just said. Wide open. Another thing, thank you for bringing to our attention, I wish you wouldn't have sent it to Carlton first. You should have called me and said, hey, your driver is being dangerous and doing all of this back and forth about a propane tank. We'll address that separately. So every one of those private roads, just like every other private road in the parish, right, Habbo, their garbage has to be brought out to a public road. I get it. I understand if it's in front of your place, you want the truck to come to your curb so you don't have to work. That is the main thing, right? The road you have over there was terrible. No one will deny how bad that road was. Now, a couple things. When you said we met and we agreed that it was a lie that the truck drug the bridge is not true. No one did that. What I personally said was, I don't know if that's a fact one way or the other. I didn't see it with my own eyes. I don't know, but that's here nor there. The issue is the condition of your road will more than likely be in the same condition it was before. You do know, and some of you probably know, there are people on that side of the bridge who don't want the garbage truck over there. And to be clear, no one other than you has ever called since the 2 years we've been in office about a garbage can. No one.
Because
Mr. Boudreau.
Thanks for coming, but until Clay calls and says, hey, I need some support, no one else called. You have other people, now you correct me if I'm wrong, there are other people on that side of the bridge who don't want us to come over there and get their garbage, right?
Mr. Boudreau,
So just so.
we gave you an extra 5 minutes. Well, I know, but we can't keep going back and forth. Right now, Billy has the floor. Let him finish, and then
Go ahead.
we'll give you 30 seconds.
Some people believe when the water line was put down there, that automatically meant the parish then became responsible for the road because some parts of that water line servitude fall in the roadway. That's happening. Some people believe if the garbage truck goes down the road, they make the pothole, right? Some people believe it's the guys going to your RVs. I understand there's all kind of finger pointing. We're not wanting to do that. What we offered you was the same thing all of those other roads have. Garbage can come to the end of Lake Hermitage Road. We'll cross the bridge, pick up the garbage right there, and be about our business. You refused that. You said that's not good enough. You've got 4 or so cottages. You got basically 4 or 5 businesses. You're running out of one address. You got one water meter. You pay $15 for water, plus, I'm sorry, not for water. You pay $15 for your refuge garbage collection, plus the 3 cans you pay an additional for, right? So another 45. You got 4 or 5 log cabins, you got a charter business, a shrimp business, you got 14 RVs. And you want us to come curbside, pick up your garbage. And I get it, you're right. All those other people that may or may not be illegal RVs, they shouldn't get their service either. And look, there will eventually be some kind of ordinance that comes with all these RV parks. The definition of an RV park is 3 or more. They would be required to have a dumpster. So eventually, more than likely, you're gonna have to provide a dumpster for your RV park anyway. Now, a guy who's got a lot and 2 RVs on it, now there may be 10 of them in a row, but it's one property owner with 2 RVs, that's different. You're one property owner with 14 RVs, 4 or 5 log cabins, and whatever other kind of business. There's a big difference. You're not really comparing apples to apples. And I can appreciate everybody wanting their garbage picked up too, but your option is still the same. The garbage can go to the end of Lake Hermitage Road, like every other road on Lake Hermitage Road, and we'll pick up your garbage right there. It's that simple. The private road, it doesn't matter. It's like a private ditch. The parish can do it. We would need something's got to be signed saying when the pothole gets bad, every other neighbor's now not going to blame us, because you know that's going to happen. So it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other. It's how you interpret it. That's where we are with it. If the council votes to pick up your garbage, we'll pick up your garbage. If it becomes unsafe, we will not pick up your garbage. And the professionals in that business will determine what's unsafe. Not you, not me. Those guys who run that department.
And Mr. Boudreaux, we can't ask our drivers to do anything unsafe. And look, and I think I've witnessed something here on a video where the guy was backing up. Well, Billy is going to address that, okay? So until something like that's brought to our attention, we're not out there every day with these guys, and you try to be on top of it, but you can't be.
I only brought that
All
up
right.
because he said it was unsafe to back up, and he told me he was turning around across the bay in a forward motion. That's the only reason I brought it up. In terms of the trash cans, I just want to rebuttal on one thing.
30 seconds.
Okay. When I went to the solid waste, and I built my cabins in 1999, and they gave me 1 garbage can for each cabin and gave me 3 for the house. I didn't get them from Walmart, Billy. I got them from solid waste. So if they failed to put it on my bill, don't hang that on me. I'll be more than glad to pay for 7 cans. You tell them to put it on my bill, and I'll be more than happy. My water bill was $400 last month. Okay, so I don't have a problem with paying for 7 cans. But I didn't go nowhere else other than solid waste to get them cans.
All right. Yeah, no, well, there's people in the queue. We're no more comments from public. Okay. Ms. Skognovich.
I'm all for people getting their garbage picked up, but from Empire to Venice, I have numerous private lanes that they bring their garbage to the road. In fact, 3 years ago, if you remember, a private lane told us that the garbage truck made the ruts and all in the road, so we fixed it. And us fixing it, we told them, we'll fix it. The garbage truck will not come down it again. Because we was responsible. So now are we gonna say that we're gonna go down every lane now, every private lane?
Mr. LaFrance.
Yes, I have my motion.
Okay. Mr. Newsom. Wait, hold on. Mr. Newsom.
Yes, and I'll speak a little bit on, can't speak too much on the other side of the canal, not Clay side. I call it the other side. That's where Mr. Rodney lives over there, I'm not sure. But by Clay's place, and he's got a big place there, but it's a beautiful house and right, he's got a lot of, there is room basically to come, because once you make that turn, when we make that turn, we went to the camp, nobody past Clay has garbage cans. They don't even have garbage cans. I guess I don't know, we have one person lives back there, just one, James lives back there. So nobody, and I think he takes care of his garbage. So it wouldn't be coming down that, how we turned and went down that road. The truck wouldn't have to do that because there's nobody that
Is there a place at the end of the road before you make that left? Is there a way to turn right, back up and then
Yes,
get out?
yes. I'll be honest, I pull my bay boat that way and I turn now. I don't back up, but there is room in front of his house to back the truck up and then head back out.
What we may have.
And then that's, look, again, like Billy said, and you said, that's, I don't drive the garbage truck. The garbage truck, the person would have to determine that. Anyway, that's his responsibility. Thank you. And that's all. I just wanted to update that, so thank you.
So my question is, I'm assuming in order for the garbage truck to go down the road, we'll have to get a waiver from every resident. Because if one does not sign and we damage the road, would that put us liability?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So if one resident does not sign that waiver,
No.
then
No. The person who's not gonna sign it is the person who didn't put a penny towards the road.
It doesn't matter. It's
It-
private property.
it's, exactly, that's the problem.
It's
So
okay, because the person that you're talking about lives much further down than the
Doesn't-
house. The truck don't even go on his road.
that will be a question for, I mean, like I said, that's my main concern is, the waivers, and if we damage the property, then that. My next question is, do we go down any private road currently?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Pleasant Ridge Estates is an example. The parks is an example. Those roads are built to standards that are approved by the engineering department because they are subdivisions that were built with specific
Okay.
standards. So
Well, yeah,
we
but-
do go down private roads, and they don't all have to be built to that standard, but they have to be of such a standard that the director of public service and the parish president, the director of operations and the parish president are comfortable that we're not going to do more damage to the road. And then we have, as Mr. Kognovich pointed out, we have more liability on our hands because that will be the claim.
But if we get waiver,
That will be the claim. What's that?
if we get the waivers, then,
Well, right. If we get
Okay.
if we get a waiver on a legal side, I would feel protected. But I would not advise to go on any private property without a waiver and express permission.
There's, just like Councilman Conovich said, there's many residents, as you go down Highway 23, when you look down, there's houses about a half a mile off Highway 23 that the trucks don't go down those private lanes. Those residents, they bring their cans, some of them, I know one for a fact, is a half a mile that they bring their cans up to Highway 23, and that's where the trash truck picks up the trash. So it's, I mean, we're gonna get with you, man. Okay.
Yes, I agree with Mr. Konovich as well, because not only do I represent down the road, I represent up the road, I represent Engineers Road. My district is very large and very vast. And I know prominent people that live in Jesuit Bend. And you know where their garbage cans wind up? They wind up at the highway because they have to bring them to the highway. The garbage trucks, some of them don't have room to turn around. And as we said, the residents, they take care of their limestone. They don't want the trucks going down. So it's not just that you're the only one that's not getting picked up private roads. There's a lot of that. And
Not talking to you.
no, no, don't mess with me, Kim. No, so I want to say it's not just in y'all neighborhood. There's a lot of people, but they've adapted to bringing their cans out to the road. And, you know, and it's, look, I got Bayou Road on the other side of Engineers Canal. And in Jesuit Bend, many places, Mr. Frank Daigle, he's got RV parks. All of his cans wind up at the highway on garbage collection day. So, you know, it's not like it's just y'all. People with private roads and they've adapted to it. But I get your frustrations. I'm neutral on it, but I just want to say, you're not alone as far as private roads not getting picked up. I yield.
Say, Mr. Laurent.
I'm not, I guess, I'm just hitting the button.
You know, listen.
Yeah, who's the, vice chair's out of town, yeah. So I guess how about the vice chair elect? There you go.
Mr. LaFrance.
Yes.
How about the vice chair elect?
You know, we are Plaquemine Parish government. We are here to serve the people. When I ran for election because I wanted to help people. Help people. That's it. And I could see if this was something new, but they've been picking up the garbage for 30, 40 years. This is nothing new. I don't understand it. It blows my mind. They spent what, $18,000 to get the road, up to spec, up to par, and they're only asking to pick up the garbage. Jesus, pick up the garbage. We just debated about mosquito control. I mean, what do we run for election for? What do we run for? We run for to help people, I don't understand it. Either we gonna help people or don't run for public office. This is nothing new. They've been picking up the garbage. All the previous president of this parish, the attorneys of this parish, all of them, from Luke Petrovich all the way to Benny Roussel, Amos Cormier, Terry Ott, Clyde Giordano, everybody pick up the garbage. I don't see what's the difference now. 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, I got left. That's it. I got 2 years. That's it. I yield.
Mr. Champagne.
Yeah, on this one, it appears like we're just shooting from the hip. I mean, we don't have a clear policy. We don't have standards. It seems to be rather subjective. You know, Mr. Kogovich talks about his, and Councilman Jurisic about some of their folks on private lanes having to pull cans, and does their roads meet a certain standard? And if so, what is that standard or not? What are the requirements? I think we need to have a policy that clearly lays this out so we wouldn't be up here. Sounds like you may be meeting that. I agree with Mr. LaFrance. We're here to help people, but let's help them by telling them what the standard is. What do you have to achieve on your private road for us to go down it? Obviously, the parks in Pleasant Ridge are very nice, but, you know, no one else should be penalized if they meet a certain standard. But what is that? It seems to be vague or unclear. We're talking about it, and I think you guys tried to meet it by making improvements to your road, and maybe it meets the standard. But what is the standard? It seems to be a moving target, and I think that's unfair. So we need to come up with something. I recommend we just we won't have to revisit this every time someone needs a public service. What's next? Mosquito control? Can the mosquito truck go down and spray?
Yes, sir.
Well, so we need to be able to provide those services and have the constituents clearly understand what the requirements are for a private road. Wouldn't you think that would be fair if we could tell you what standard you had to meet? And I'm with them. We're in the business of public service. If you're paying for a service, we should be leaning forward trying to fulfill that obligation. And if there's a reason we can't, we should be able to point to a policy and say, you have to widen the road by 1 foot. I'm just making that up, but you have to meet this standard, and we can provide the service. So I think that's where we are. Rennie, I recommend that we put together a policy so we're not revisiting this every year with every administration. I yield.
Yeah, the engineering department can come up with a standard. I assume it's going to require that the road be paved in such a way that it can support the weight limit, at a minimum, the weight limit of the truck, and also provide turnaround for safety. So I would defer to the engineering department on that. I'll let them come up with some regulations, and then you guys can adopt it if you so see fit.
Dr. Gouy.
Yeah, I know, Clay, I mean, you got to be at wit's end. I got to agree with everyone that, yeah, we're here to do service, and I agree with Councilmember Champagne is that there should be some standards. If we can't work it out, and I really think we can work it out. I mean, I would be very shocked if we couldn't come up with a solution. What concerns me is that if we do this, then what about all the other lanes? Are we playing favorites? What do I do on Truel Lane? Right in District 4, people got to bring their cans to the front because we can't put a truck on it. The road's substandard. We've got sewer running in the middle of the road. We break up manhole covers, and it's a tough thing. So I would just, whatever motion we do and whatever the answer to that motion, y'all still got to work it out. Still got to work it out.
Yeah, look, I don't want to beat this dead horse, but
It's dead.
I've heard it's dead, been dead, but, and look, and I've been told this, well, if you're going to do it there, buddy, I'm expecting it to come down my lane too. You see, and so, I mean, so that's,
Well, that's the very reason we're here today. It's
Yeah.
because you're doing it across the buy. and you-
Okay, but
so
then
I
this
get
is
what you're
gonna
saying.
This is gonna pull the lid
I get what you're
completely
saying.
off the can, right?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so, but look, if y'all feel the need to do your resolution or whatever, feel good, do it, but it won't be necessary, but we're gonna get with him. But you know what? Look, here's the deal. Do the resolution to force us into it. And then, you know what? Then, when anyone else comes to us in the future, you can do another. You can do another, okay?
Well, it could be grandfathered in. You did it before.
Hey, look.
Whatever blow the whistle.
Okay. Here's the deal. When you read the charter, my job is to carry out the duties laid forth by the council here, okay? So if you put the paper in front of us, it's our job to follow through with it.
I ain't gonna get a mandamus, huh?
Yeah, probably so, you know?
And you be listening, then, y'all talking big words on me, now y'all big words.
I say, let them work it out right now because, okay, y'all used to do it. Well, they used to give the widow fund. They used to give the kids college funds. They used to put rocks along every highway, every lane back in the day. Well, we don't do it no more. And if they can't work it out, then we do one because it's gonna have to be everyone. Because if they get theirs picked up, I know a bunch of them in my district want theirs picked up.
We're on YouTube right now.
Yep, I know. And it's like everybody, if he gets it, I want it.
Look, just like we did. We all got elected here to serve the people, okay? We want to do the right thing, but we have to do the right thing. And there's, obviously, we can go on this lane by law, okay? But we've got to do the right thing, and we have to be safe about it. That's the thing. We've got to, can't ask our driver. Again, I'm not aware, I just saw the video. So obviously, the driver is going to be talked to about is driving on that other road, the way he was, okay?
All right.
But
All right. So again, about used to all this other stuff, it goes back to the comment I made earlier on the ditches is we used to maintain all the servitudes in my district, and I've been fighting servitude issues clean up. So again, it's we used to do it. I mean, how do we handle this going forward? I don't know, because if we start doing this, then Billy, I'm going to be giving you a phone call for certain things. Miss McCarty.
Okay, I cannot speak to the legal question, and I hope that you guys can address it. But would everyone be willing to sign a waiver? Everyone on your street be willing to sign a waiver? I'm just trying to come to a medium here. And the second question is, if the street were to damage the truck in any way, would you be willing to, or get to a point that it would damage the truck, would you be willing to go back and fix your street so that you could get garbage? And is that enough for everyone to sign a liability waiver? That's what I'm asking.
I mean, that's a can of worms that I don't know that we want to open up. At the end of the day, and I know people don't like it because maybe it's not a set policy, it's up to the administration, it's up to the truck driver to determine whether something is safe or not safe, and whether or not he's going to cause more damage to a road that's already damaged and has a history of continuously being damaged. And that's a decision we make. That's a decision that's made on the ground. And, roads change over time, things happen over time, and that's just the way this is, always been handled. And as the gentleman said, his road was in a deplorable condition, and he had to make those repairs. Now, I don't know how many times it's going to take that truck to go down that road for those conditions to happen again, but I can't imagine it's going to be a lot of times. And so those are decisions that are made on each road in each circumstance. And so, maybe no one likes the answer, but that's how these things have been handled in the past.
So would your residents, I think we can not worry about future people coming at us if we could say that your residents would maintain the road to a certain standard so that the trucks could go down. And then that way in the future, I'm thinking that other people would have to do the same so that we would not be messing up any roads or any vehicles. It's up to them, though.
What you just said, man, makes perfect sense. And we'd be willing to sign a waiver to maintain the condition of the road. In terms of the, repairing the truck, I don't think anybody's going to sign that waiver because he'd have to run off the road to damage the truck. The potholes across the bayou right now on West Bayou Lane are deeper than the ones on our side of the road. It's because nobody's putting any material over there for quite some time. So he's not going to damage his truck coming down our lane. I don't know the picture that everybody's painting, but our road is not that bad. It's in good shape now. Yeah. I mean, cement trucks with 10 yards of concrete come down our road every time somebody's pouring a slab.
Okay,
You still want
you're gonna take care of it. Okay, so I'll withdraw my motion.
All right, Mr. LaFrance is withdrawing his motion. It sounds like the administration will get with y'all.
And you're gonna get with him?
I've got one other question. When? I mean, how long does this take? Because I don't want to call your office and aggravate you. I just want to know when.
Nah, hey, come on. Let's get moving.
I know. I understand that, sir. But we've been waiting. We've been waiting a long time.
Hopefully, so we have next meeting in Belchase will be January, and hopefully we can work something out before then. That way y'all don't have to come all the way back to the East Bay because we only have one meeting on the East Bay next month also. So maybe by January, was that 14th, I think, is our next meeting in Belchase. Hopefully we can get something worked out. If not, y'all can come back then, and that way it won't be as long as a trip. January 9th is our next meeting. Does that work for you?
Well, I'm not going to call the office anymore because I understand that they have a lot of important things to do, and we've been very respectful and very cordial during this time that we've been waiting for them for an answer. So I'm not going to call the office anymore. Are you telling me that somebody's going to get with us by January council meeting?
Okay. Yeah, before then, and then that way, if not, then I'm assuming Mr. LaFrance will put you back on the agenda for the January 9th council meeting, and then we can, but that's my hope that they will get to you within the next month, before Christmas.
Man, every time.
I mean, I can't guarantee you because it's not me.
I come in here and I talk about this, only been twice. I feel so good when I leave that we making headway, but nothing ever happens.
Yeah, I can't guarantee because I'm not administration, but he will get with you before Christmas, and then we'll try to hopefully work it out by then. You good with that, Ms. LaFrance? You good with that?
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Do you want to talk about anything else on your update, Ms. LaFrance? You good? Wait, hold on. We still got to read F.
Let's the,
Hold on.
motion to adjourn.
Wait, we got to read an election.
Oh, okay.
All right.
F, reading of notice of intent to call election, Councilmember Newsom.
No, they got to read it something officially.
Public notice to call election. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Section 19.1 of Title 42, the Louisiana Revised Statutes of 1950, as amended, that the Plaquemines Parish Council, acting as the governing authority of the Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana, on December 12, 2024, at its regular meeting place, the Plaquemines Parish Council Chambers, 18055 Highway 15, Point-on-the-Hash, Louisiana, at 2 p.m., will discuss and consider adopting a resolution ordering and calling an election on Saturday, October 11th, 2025, to authorize the rededication of a portion, 1/4, of an existing 1% sales and use tax for the purposes of providing additional funding for emergency medical services in the parish.
Can I ask a question on that? If we decide to change the election date, does that impact anything? Danny, if we decide to change the election date, does that, at the table in December, does that change anything with this required reading?
The election date, sorry, for the,
They're calling an election in October of next year, the one that y'all spoke about.
Oh.
If we want to change the date to an earlier election, and if we choose to, I'm not saying we are, but does that impact this reading? Or do we have to reread it in December? Because this
No, I
is
mean, you
saying
can amend it now, I mean, it's too late to do something.
for the January, I'm not talking about, or
No, there is no
the
January,
March,
the
the
March
March, yeah,
election.
it's too late for
to
that,
get-
but
it's too
there's
late
one,
to- I mean,
another one.
But if you wanted to get on the May election here, hold on.
Yeah, we have time, I know that, but I'm just saying, does this impact the reading of this notice? She had to read the notice that we intend to call an election in December.
No.
In December, we're going to vote on something that we're calling election for October.
No, because the only time you could, I think you still have time
Okay, we'll talk offline.
to do that. Yeah.
All right, motion, hey, you should have your motion. Motion by Mr. Koknovich. Do I have a second? Second by Ms. McCarty. We have motion for adjournment. Machines are open. In honor of Mr. Edwards. Oh. Are y'all verbals?
Yes.
Verbal, yes. All right, we have verbal 6-1 with Mr. Jurist not voting.
No, we'd have passed. You see?
So we have 6-1 with Mr. Jurist not voting. We have adjournment at 5:05.